First goal I ever scored, this will tell you, we were playing Leicester.
So, because you were playing behind him, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, guys.
5 years.
Liverpool v Swansea, and see you later.
Things like, I'm making you into a half-decent player. He always have jokes, about that. But when I scored my first goal, he wasn't playing. We were losing 3-2 to Leicester.
And at the
last minute, it comes to me on the edge of the box what the heck I was doing there, because I was playing right back. I can't remember. And I hit it, and it's one of those that just went in. So I jumped up in the air, 18, 19-year-old, wherever I was, and I was running around. So it finished 3-3. It was time up virtually. And I was a bit full of myself, and the crowd were all, good old Jim, and I was going off and waving, as a teenager would. I went off, and I sat down, and everybody went out. And Matthews came in the dressing room when everybody was sort of out there, and it was just me and him. He just put his hand on my shoulders as if to say, don't get up. So he says, what was that all about at the end? So I says, what? Town hero. And I thought he was joking, So he says, yeah. There was still 2 minutes of injury time to go. We could have won that match. But you were still full of scoring your goal. He says, what if they'd have got a corner and your mind had still been on that goal? You've got to be prepared to be ready. All this celebration, he says, no. They know who scored. They're all happy for you. I was. He says, concentration. After a goal, concentration.
I don't know about you, Mark Pugac and John Murray, but whenever we were at a game with him, I tried to engineer any conversation so I could get a Sir Stanley Matthews story out of him, because obviously he is this legendary figure of English football, and yet Jimmy played behind him. Yeah. Jimmy played behind Sir Stanley Matthews. Like, come on, Jimmy, please tell me about Sir Stanley Matthews. Tell me some more.
Yeah, and, that's part of what he brought to the table when it came to broadcasting with us on football, because of the, that sort of wealth of experience. And don't forget, that with Stanley Matthews, he developed this overlapping fullback style, which was sort of revolutionary in the game. And I was listening to Drive earlier when our Five Live controller, Jonathan Wall, was on the air and talking about how he felt that he revolutionised the game of summarising, of punditry, because of the way that he developed it over the years. So not only was he revolutionary as a player, he was also revolutionary as a broadcaster.
But of course, he would do it in his own... He downplayed his role in the overlapping fullback, because he'd say... Well, what happened was, because he was Stanley Matthews, they put two defenders on him. So I suddenly thought, there's lots of empty space over there on the right-hand side. I might as well run into it. So, he did revolutionise it. But, of course, he said he implied as he would, because he was so modest, it was by accident. It's because they were all man-marking and doubling up on Stanley Matthews. So I'd go and run into that space. And then at one stage, and we'll hear that later in the interview I did with him, Joe Smith said, you might have noticed, Jimmy, we've got quite a good number 7 who's quite good at going down there. Basically, who do you think you are? So, as ever, part of the game, but downplaying his role in it.
Absolutely. Dan says, I've just been down to Bloomfield Road. There are some lovely tributes from other clubs as well as Blackpool fans. In summation, Jimmy had a quiet class and loved the game. Modest and loyal and tangerine to his core. We have lost our quiet, unassuming legend. Mark says, modest, courteous and polite, yet so much on his CV of which he could rightly boast. You did yourself, your family and the nation proud. Bill, in an age before the internet, anyone who can remember Radio 2, Jimmy Armfield and Peter Jones are not likely to forget just how good those two were. The footballer's footballer, and by all accounts a hell of a nice guy too. Footballer is all the poorer for his passing. I received a text from Leo Moynihan, the journalist, says, I once did a book in England. I once did a book on England players' World Cup memories. Jimmy gave me 2 hours of his time to tell me about Chile in 1962, but then sat for 4 hours going over and correcting my copy. What a great guy, generous but meticulous. We've lost a gentleman. Your memories of Jimmy Armfield are most welcome on this very sad day on 5 Live Sport. 85058 at 5 Live Sport. We'll talk about him being Mr. Blackpool. We'll hear from Ian Holloway, our former Blackpool manager, as well in the next half hour. And Mark Pugac and John Murray will stay with me. But at 7:32, here's the latest BBC News with Alison Hughes.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
As you've been hearing, tributes are being paid to the former England and Blackpool legend Jimmy Armfield, who's died at the age of 82. He was a player and manager before becoming a highly respected and well-liked football commentator and summariser for BBC Radio for almost 40 years. The leader of UKIP, Henry Bolton, says he won't resign despite increasing criticism from within his own party. A dozen senior figures have quit after his ex-girlfriend sent racist texts. West Midlands Police have arrested the father of an 8-year-old girl who was stabbed to death on Saturday on suspicion of attempted murder. 54-year-old Bill Billingham is being treated in hospital for a stab wound. And the head of the army is warning that unless more military funding is made available, the UK won't be able to deal with future security threats. General Sir Nick Carter says Russia's cyber warfare capabilities are a major concern.
Thank you very much, Alison. The sports news this evening. The deal has gone through and Alexis Sanchez says the chance to work with Jose Mourinho was something I could not turn down. He joins Manchester United. Henrik Mkhitaryan moves in the opposite direction. Scotland's search for a new manager continues as Northern Ireland boss Michael O'Neill has today turned down the chance to succeed Gordon Strachan. And the defending long jump champion Greg Rutherford has pulled out of the England team for the Commonwealth Games in Australia in April.
5 Live Breakfast.
Michelle revealed last week that the thing she really wanted to be when she was younger was a checkout assistant in a supermarket. Yes. I wondered, did you see this story today about a robot who, as part of an experiment, was installed to help with customer service in an Edinburgh shop? And it's been a total failure. Apparently, when the robot was put back in its box, one of the staff in the shop cried, one of the staff members.
There's not a film about somebody falling in love with a robot. I think that's...
There's been a few of that.
It's ringing a bell.
Somebody fell in love with a mannequin in the 80s.
Do you know what?
What's that?
It's the 22nd of January.
Who'd have thought it?
It was Christmas yesterday.
Not anymore.
5 Live Breakfast. Back tomorrow from 6.
And the shot from Karagounis is into the bottom corner from 25 yards. It beat Ricardo's dive. And Greece have taken the lead. And a nation, a host nation, Portugal, is stunned.
Yes, and Greece have deserved it. They've been the better team. They're a yard faster all over the ground, and they've actually surprised Portugal. These three front players have suddenly put Portugal's back players under pressure. What happened was the ball was given away, and Karagounis picked it up, and I watched him. He advanced on the left-hand side. He advanced, and nobody came to close him down. And he's hit it with his right foot. I think the goalkeeper just got a touch on Ricardo. I think he just got a fingertip, but nevertheless, it's in the back of the net. What a great start that is for Greece.
Remember that one, John Murray?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm laughing there because I know we're going to talk about Jimmy as a broadcaster a little bit later on. I've written down a number of little phrases, and one of them is, what happened was there, and he said it in that clip. But what I like about that is, if I can just sort of slightly digress, is that I think there's a real strength of Jimmy as a broadcaster in that he had that little phrase, which was, what happened was there, and it is, now I'm going to give you now the definitive version of what happened and why it happened. And he had that authority, and he had that because he'd gone from a career football man to a career broadcaster, and that's not something that happened accidentally. But yes, that was the opening match at Euro 2004, and as I'm sure we all remember, and anyone who has travelled with Jimmy, that was an experience in itself. He knew what he liked, Jimmy. And he knew that he didn't like cheese and he didn't like spicy food. And I remember at Euro 2004, we stayed in a hotel that was slightly out of the city centre, and there was a little cafe over the way, which was very much no frills. And yet Jimmy saw this place, it wasn't far to go, and would go in there religiously. And by the time we left Porto, he'd befriended them all, and he could come in and sit down and say, I'll have what I had yesterday. And he got it.
We're on 85058 at 5 Live Sport. Dermot O'Leary, the Radio 2 presenter, has tweeted, always a favourite on 5 Live Sport. Seemed like a gent with a quick mind, undimmed by age or the evolution of the modern game. He'll be missed. David Morrissey, the actor, a big listener to 5 Live Sport, said, so sad to hear about Jimmy. I loved listening to him on 5 Live Sport. A great knowledge of the game. Also, his generous and warm personality shone through. A very sad loss. Neil, compliments are never enough for true greats like Jimmy. Loyal and talented as a footballer, warm and insightful as a commentator. A true great in every sense. You will be missed. Andrew, Jimmy was a childhood friend of my dad's in Blackpool. They played in a lot of school sports teams together. When I was 10 and Jimmy was manager of Leeds, he hosted me and my dad to a day at Ellen Road. He gave us a personal tour of the ground, introduced us to that famous Leeds team of the 70s, and took us to the day's training session. I still have Eddie Gray's numbered sock tags as a memento. When my dad died, Jimmy was straight on the phone with his condolences. He was a true gent. We have mentioned, obviously, that Jimmy was a one-club man, and that club being Blackpool. But have a listen to this when he was talking to Mark Pugac, because he nearly joined Manchester United the year before the Munich air disaster.
When I was in the army, I was very friendly with Duncan Edwards. They were all my group. Eddie Coleman, Bill Folks, they were all in the army team with me. I forget how it got out anyway in the press. Matt Busby had made an approach to see if I'd be interested in going, And they used to train quite often at the Norberg Hydro in Blackpool, Manchester United. And I've been up there to see Duncan and Eddie Coleman. Joe Smith said to me, well, Manchester United have inquired about you. So I said, yeah. He said, well, you tell your friend Edwards, if he wants to tap anybody, time to come and tap me. Now, off. That's what I got.
Did you want to go?
It hadn't really entered my mind, really, to be honest. It was a bit of a surprise. I didn't believe it until I actually heard it. Because, it was the Busby Babes. I'd have gone. Just before Munich.
It was the year before.
So it was a February. Well, this was at the end of 57, I would think.
Jimmy Armfield talking about the possibility to join Manchester United. He was actually born, Mark, wasn't he, in Denton, and then went to Blackpool during the war.
Yes, so absolutely, as you say. So we associate him with Blackpool, of course, because he then lived there for the rest of his life and lived in the house where Gary Flintoff and I went to see him for years and years and years. But as you say, began his life in Denton, and I think then because of his father and something to do with the war, moved to Blackpool. But you would tell me that Denton, certainly in those days, was still Lancashire, wasn't it? Definitely Lancashire. So as John says, a man who was the High Sheriff of Lancashire one day was incredibly proud of that side of it. But then, as John was talking about the what ifs earlier, when we were talking about the 1966 World Cup and we were talking about the European Cup final in Leeds, it makes you stop and think about Manchester United. I don't think a lot of people knew that, actually, particularly that Matt Busby had been in for him and wanted to sign him. But, of course, in those days, Blackpool had his registration. Blackpool said, no, you're not going anywhere. And that was it. On he got with it, particularly when we think about what's happened today with Alexis Sanchez, a very different scenario where, of course, in those days, the club had all the power.
Let's focus on Blackpool then. In 2010, they won promotion to the Premier League, their first time in the top flight since Jimmy's days as a player at Bloomfield Road. And the manager who got them there was Ian Holloway.
It was an honour, mate, to bump into him through that and also get his knowledge and see what a man he was. I mean, that's the joy for me. And the sadness right now, I don't think I know a better human being anywhere in the world. And we're all going to miss him.
Was he a real help to you?
The only thing I could say is he would know what to say to anybody. And he would put it the right way. If he had to tell them something that they didn't want to hear, he would be able to tell them that. And they would want to change. I have never met a man like him. Nothing ever fazed him. Nothing ever changed him, whoever he was. He could walk with kings. He could go into a normal cafe with all of us and he would fit in. And I've never met anybody quite like him. And the amount of knowledge that he has and the way he delivers it in a way that is never pushy, but is always correct. And I'm trying to put it in the words, but it's almost anybody who's met him would understand. Anybody who spoke to him would understand. He's just got a wonderful, wonderful way about him. And it's going to be sorely missed, mate.
You're putting it perfectly for those that know him. I'm nodding in the studio, production team through the glass are nodding and smiling as well. So you've encapsulated him brilliantly in that answer.
For me, obviously, I love football people. Just to talk to him we had a couple of cups of coffee, come at the training ground, or we'd go to a game and he'd always pop in my office. And to be honest, I couldn't wait to ask him a question. I couldn't wait to get his opinion on things. And I said about the way football was going one day. And he went, son, it's only going back that way. And I went, sorry? He went, well, I remember playing against Italy and I was a right back. And I went, And normally I'd go outside someone and I'd go to make a run forward. He said I had 3 of them all over me. I managed to get past one. The next one made me play it too far. And the third one tackled me. They broke and nearly scored. He said, so this high pressing game, that's been around for years, son. I thought it was somewhat new. I thought we were having a discussion and he sort of put me in my place, you know. But I couldn't argue with him. He said, you know, we're light years behind. And he said, that's what I like about you. You want to try and create a way to play. And he said, son, that's all you can do and study everywhere. He said, the game is so magnificent and it's a privilege. And it was. Do you know what I mean? It was almost, he'd always end. It's almost a Columbo moment. Do you know what I mean? At the end of Columbo, he would say something and he would make you think of something and you'd go, oh, blimey, Jim's got me again. I wish I had that skill. Do you know what I mean? He almost, young man, and it was just go bang. You know, if ever there was a hammer hitting a nail right in, driving it in the wood, Jim would just know how to do it. And I swear to you, to see him in his own world, playing the organ, mate, in the church. One day, he told me the story, one day, someone was ill and I'd never been trained and I just want to, and he could do it. He's one of them blokes who could do absolutely anything. So and we were sat down here to do one night, I got to tell you this quick story. We were sat down here to do, his lovely wife Anne was there and the singer was brilliant and he was coming round and he'd put the mic under your nose and most of us would just cringe, whereas Jim grabbed it and sang almost as good as him. I said, Jim, is there anything you can't do? He said, I'm sure my wife would tell you. There's quite a few things, but he said, offhand, I'll have a go at anything. And he blooming well would. He was that bloke who could do everything.
Can you remember, I don't know whether you can or not, what he said to you or when he first met up with you after the playoff win, after Blackpool made it to the top flight?
Yeah, I can, yeah. He had tears in his eyes. He'd been crying. Thank you so much, son. Thank you so much. I will never forget this day, and neither will you. And when I left, he just sent me a message and said, thanks for the days in the sun. I'll never forget them, and I know you won't, but the people up here loved every minute of it. And every time I think about it, I see that vivid shirt, I see the crowd, a whole orange semicircle at Wembley, and he always had the right word, mate, and I have to say he's a very, very special person. I think his family know that. I really feel for Anne. I can't see how those two, they were so close, how they can bear to be apart. And Kim and I want to give you a hug and say thanks. Just remember that it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
Ian, it's a sad day and at the same time, a lot of memories and a lot of stories are making people smile as well. We appreciate you talking to us this evening. I really do.
Chappers, what can I say, mate? What a sad day for all of English football.
Ian Holloway. There's some lovely stories there, Mark Pugac, aren't there?
He's always good for a story, isn't he? He really is always good for a story. I remember another one when John was there, when he presented the FA Cup. I'm trying to think when it was, about 5 or 6 years ago. And I remember we said, Jim, we want to do an interview. Come on, come to the Royal Box then. So we went and interviewed him in the Royal Box, and he was so proud to do that. And I think I said, Jimmy, what are you doing tonight? Big night out in London? He went, no, I'm going to get the train home. I want to go home tonight. But, you know, just to be at, because he loved the FA Cup as well. Of course, going back to Blackpool in 1953, he would have done. But he absolutely loved that. He loved being at the centre of attention there. Not in a look at me show off way, but just the fact that you know he'd been asked to present the FA Cup. He was so excited to be able to do that. What wonderful stories of Ian talking about that. I remember being at that game and just what it meant to Blackpool, and of course all of us who were there working for 5 Live that day. Inevitably, we thought, what is Jimmy going to make of this? That Blackpool are back in the big time for the first time since he played.
Because he was still a fan at heart, as we've been saying, John.
Well, he was, and that's why he wanted to come and do another game with us. He wanted to overcome this illness and come and do a game with us, and that's why he continued to do it. You know, to cover matches and come out and work with us well into his 70s, because he loved being there at the game and you know, and telling us all what he thought of it.
There are so many tributes across social media. Peter Reid has tweeted a letter that Jimmy sent to him when he made his broken into the first team at Bolton, just addressed to P. Reid Esquire at Bolton Wanderers Football Club, just with the lines, "I thought I must drop you a line, say how pleased I was to see that you had managed to break into the first team." I think Jimmy had just taken over he had taken over at Leeds at this point, because the address at the top of the letter is Ellen Road, Leeds. "I've always had faith you would make a regular first team player one day, and I'm sure it will not be long before it comes about. I hope to read about you soon, doing big things, and I shall watch your progress with real interest. Please give my regards to your mother and father. I remain yours sincerely, JC Armfield." Were you laughing there, John?
I was, yeah. It's typical, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's absolutely typical. And he would always ask about the family. And I know another one of our football producers of recent times, Phil Y, was in touch today. And Phil's wife, for a long little period wasn't very well. And Phil told me, he said, every time I'd see Jimmy, the first thing he would ask is, "How's his wife? How's Zoe? Is she okay? Da-di-da-di-da." So tremendously thoughtful.
Charlie Adam, the former Blackpool midfielder, and we're going to talk to him at half-time. He's left one of his Stoke City shirts at Jimmy's statue outside Bloomfield Road, and has signed it as well. And the message on Charlie's shirt says, "Jimmy, thanks for your support and kind words over the years. It was a pleasure to have met you. RIP." Keep your texts and tweets coming as well. 85058 at 5 Live Sport. The highlight of Jimmy's career was being part of the 1966 World Cup winning squad, despite, as we mentioned a little earlier, the fact that he did not play. He was Alf Ramsey's captain in the years before the tournament. Then fate dealt him a bad hand. Not that he saw it that way.
I was playing quite well at the time. When you're playing well. Alf was in the stand. It was at Ipswich. I was running down the field. There was nobody anywhere near me. I just suddenly got this pain. And I thought, oh my God. And I just had to stop dead in my tracks. One or two of the crowd laughed, but I finished up in Blackpool Hospital. And what I'd done, I'd got a bit more than a hernia. It was like a ruptured groin. I hadn't played in the England team for over a year now. I saw Alf once, somewhere to match. He never did anything. But then I saw him. I played it somewhere in the Midlands. After the game, he came to see me. And he said to me, "How are you?" So I said, "Good." He says, "What, are you fit for the World Cup?" So I said, "OK." I must have been the first player ever to be told he was going to be selected. That's an absolutely true story. He said, "I'd like you to be fit for the World Cup." So I said, "Oh, that's great."
But you knew, obviously, because of Bobby Moore, that you were never going to be captain again.
Well, the first game I came back, I played against Yugoslavia at Wembley. I was captain. And right at the end of the match, a guy comes and he stood on my foot. I sort of carried on a bit and I thought, crack, it's sore this. Anyway, they gave me an x-ray and my little toe had a crack down it. But Al said, "Well, you're not playing in the next warm-ups, You've got to be fit for the World Cup start." I never played again. He kept the defence for the next game. And they were the best part of the team, really. And he never changed the back four.
Did you find that very hard to deal with?
No.
No?
Not hard, not really hard. No. Of course we wanted to play. Of course you wanted to play, but it's something you have no control over anyway. What matters is what the end product is.
But you'd been captain against Yugoslavia.
And against
come back
Finland.
Into the team.
And against Finland.
You played really well. You were captain against Finland. You must be thinking at that stage, hang on a second, I'm playing well and I'm captain. I could be captain of England in the World Cup in England in a couple of months' time here. But my point being, once you'd got the injury and you didn't get back in the team...
No, I hope to play, of course I
think
did.
most people listening to me would be unbelievably frustrated and insanely jealous.
Well, no, I wasn't. Say jealous would be wrong. If I'd have felt the other players were inferior or something like that, I'd say, yeah. I've been unlucky once or twice, really, with injuries. And
that's as unlucky as it gets, Jimmy, to miss captaining your country in your home World Cup. I think
that's right.
Most people would think that's as unlucky as it gets.
Well, I had been there. I had done it, and I had got there. Isn't it better that we won? It is better we won, because today people look back and they say, well, you remember the World Cup squad. It's not the same as being in the 11 who played in the final. But the point was, it's better that they won. It is now more than ever, isn't it?
Well, Jimmy, frankly, that's the measure of you as a man.
And you can hear the surprise in Mark's voice, and the surprise in Mark's voice is what I think all of us are thinking as well, listening to that. And there'll be more of that after 10 o'clock tonight. And we discussed that nearer the start of this hour, and this hour will be available to download as a podcast as well.
By the way, Mark, just for the record, I looked it up this afternoon. The date of that Finland match when he captained England was June the 26th, which was just about a month before England won the World Cup. He captained England.
Given when you hear his personality come through like that, and his way of looking at life and looking at football and looking at sport, it really doesn't come as a surprise, does it, that he was the man chosen to rescue Leeds from the mess they had got themselves in with Brian Clough. Does it, John?
Well, we forget because we know how he was in the second half of his life almost, but he was a leader of men. That's why he had that position as the captain of his club and the captain of his country, and a manager who could take a team to a European Cup final. And I've been thinking of a story today when I worked with them at the World Cup in France in 1998, and we covered a game down in Montpellier. And I went down there. It was me and Simon Brotherton, actually, who were with Jimmy. It was stiflingly hot, and we had to get finished and then get a taxi to the airport to fly on to our next destination. When we got there's this long taxi queue, very, very hot. We queued all the way up to the front. Just as we got to the taxi, these two young lads, maybe tearaways you might call them, just sort of elbowed their way in front of us. We're about to get into the door was open. Jimmy tapped them on the shoulder and said, "Oi, you." And they turn around, and I'm not sure whether they could speak any English, but he put his thumb out and he said, "You two, back of the queue." And they looked at him, and Jimmy just gave them a look. And I don't know what it was. It was just the way that he did it, his authority. They sort of meekly sloped away, put one foot out of the cab and disappeared, and we got in. So, he had that. There was a bit of, there's steel there as well.
Just on the on your trips with Jimmy abroad, Chris Crescent sent me a tweet saying, could you just ask John Murray where the cafe was in Porto? Because I'd like to go and visit and ask for the Jimmy Armfield special.
Well, the funny thing was, as Mark will remember as well, he was a little bit of a minor hypochondriac as well. And I remember in Brussels, I think at Euro 2000, it was early in the morning. I go bang on the door. I opened the door and Jimmy's standing there and he's squinting up at the ceiling and he's got this little plastic bottle. And he doesn't say good morning, or he thinks, oh, my eyes, I need these drops in my eyes. And I said, well, and he hands me this bottle, walks past me into my bathroom and stands in front of the mirror. So I went in and sort of put that's better. And off he goes. That was it. Back to his room.
The food was always resolutely British, wasn't it, John?
Very much so.
Yes, it wouldn't be anything else. Just you mentioned that Leeds one there, Mark. I said to him, Jimmy, what did you do? So he said, the first game I was in charge after the 44 days of Brian Clough, I think they were playing Arsenal. They used to eat in Roundhay Park in Leeds before the game. And he said, they were all sitting there having their lunch. And I just said to them, turn to the person to your left and have a look at them. So Brilly Bremner would turn around and look at Norman Hunter, and Paul Madeley would be looking at Peter Lorimer or somebody, and they said, right, now you lot, why are you in the mess you're in? Because they were champions, obviously. They'd had a terrible start to the season. Bremner had been sent off with a charity shield. That had all gone off. And so, he basically said, look at each other. You know how good you are. Sort it out. And from there, of course, they pulled, because they were very near the bottom at the time then, pulled clear of any relegation troubles, and then got all the way to the European Cup final against Bayern Munich.
If I could nick one of Jimmy's phrases then, as you've alluded to, John, already, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to say, so what's going to happen here now is we're going to end this part of the tribute here. Mark Pugacha's chat with him that he recorded last summer will play between 10 and 11:30 this evening. It is a remarkable insight into Jimmy's life and career, and it is very moving as well. And we'd like your texts and tweets to continue on 85058 at 5Live Sport as well. We'll talk to Charlie Adam at half-time. Ashley says, I met Jimmy on holiday. I was blown away with how down-to-earth he was. I had my Leicester City shirt on and he came up to me and asked if he could buy me and my missus a drink. It was in the summer of us winning the Premier League. We'll never forget how excited and genuinely amazed he was by what we'd done that year. I think he went through every game that season and his words were, it's just what football needed. Unbelievable bloke. Mark, John, thank you very much on a sad day, but full of memories. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go to Swansea for commentary of Swansea-Liverpool with John Hartson and Conor McNamara, and they're about to pay tribute there to Cyril Regis, another footballing great who died this time last week. Conor.
Yes, thank you very much, Mark. Yes, as they have been doing at Premier League games up and down the land over the weekend, and also on this Monday evening. Moments of applause for Cyril Regis, but they've also put a picture of Jimmy Armfield up on the big screens as well, and I'm sure much of this appreciation towards him as well. This is the minutes of applause at the Liberty Stadium ahead of Swansea against Liverpool. Two very iconic images. Cyril Regis in his West Bromwich Albion kit, Jimmy Armfield in the tangerine of Blackpool, and both of those remembered ahead of kickoff. Really enjoyed that last hour listening to Mark Chapman and Mark Pugach and John Murray and the other assorted guests, and so many wonderful memories of Jimmy Armfield, and we really could just sit and listen to those kind of stories all night. But you know what Jimmy would have wanted? He'd have wanted us to commentate on the football, because we are underway at the Liberty Stadium, and this is what he did so many evenings, speaking into the little lip mics. I used to love how Jimmy used to hold the microphone between his teeth as he would make little notes on his pad. A pad very similar to the one John Hartson has in front of me tonight. You're standing on the shoulders of giants, John. No pressure on 5 Live tonight.
Well, I'll have to say some of the tributes I've listened to today with regards to Jimmy Armfield, really taken me back. Outstanding tributes, and he clearly was a legend, both on the football field and of course in his broadcasting career, which he did so graciously and eloquently.
Yeah, was he ever lived two lives really, did Jimmy Armfield, and much more on Jimmy as the night proceeds. That special programme, which if you haven't heard it, really is worth listening to. I listened on the train on the way down myself today to the entire programme. Fantastic stuff. That's coming up at 10 o'clock on 5 Live. But underway here, Virgil van Dijk's making his first Premier League start for Liverpool. Scored, of course, on his debut for the club in the FA Cup against Everton. He's at the heart of a Liverpool defence alongside Joel Matip, and they've got Robertson and Gomez on either side of them. Swansea, bottom of the Premier League. If they are to have a revival, it's got to start somewhere. Could it start here tonight?
Well, they got an awful lot to do, Conor. You're just looking at the quality and the power and pace that Liverpool have within their ranks, and come off a magnificent performance last week, beating Manchester City. So Swansea are going to have to perform tonight. Every single player going to have to be at the very, very top of their game.
I'll give you a full rundown of the teams in just a moment as Liverpool clear the ball away. Van Dijk, very much not what you'd expect a £75 million clearance to be, just a proper up and under, wellied the boot right the way down the field. Firmino has picked it up for Liverpool, but Key nips in and makes the interception, and Swansea regain possession. They have it at the back. So this is the Swansea team. Lukasz Fabianski, the Polish international goalkeeper. They've gone 3 at the back tonight, Swansea. Mike Van Hoorn, Federico Fernandez, Alfie Mawson. They're the 3 central defenders, as Matip here wins a chase against Ayew and rolls the ball back to Karius. Kyle Naughton and Martin Olsen are the 2 wing backs. Key is the sort of anchor in the midfield. Then there's a 3 of Nathan Dyer on the right, Leroy Fer, Sam Klukas, with Jordan Ayew up front, who is Swansea's top scorer this season. The Liverpool team, Karius, who's now been installed as the official first choice. It's only his 5th Premier League game of the campaign. Back 4, Gomez, Van Dijk, Matip and Robertson. Then in the middle of the midfield, Wijnaldum, Chan and Oxlade-Chamberlain, with Salah, Firmino and Mane up front. Liverpool are playing from left to right as we look down, all in red. Swansea, all in white. We've played 3 minutes. Throw in on the far side. And Andy Robertson, who probably had his best game in a Liverpool shirt against Manchester City last weekend. And, you know, worth remembering that result. No mean feat to beat Manchester City in the Premier League. No one else was able to do it this season.
Well, they were outstanding, weren't they? Scored 4 great goals. They looked magnificent on the day, Liverpool, and obviously it stopped Man City sort of destroying everything in their sight. So their run has come to a halt, but it had to happen one time, and Liverpool were magnificent at Anfield last weekend in that great win.
Swansea 0, Liverpool 0. Swansea beat Liverpool in the Premier League last season. That was at Anfield, 3-2. It was 5-0 on Boxing Day, so each of the last 2 games between these two has produced 5 goals. Let's say for a few goals this evening as Robertson rolls it back into his own half again. And Virgil van Dijk to Matip on his right hand side, and Liverpool creep back into Swansea territory. It's a very direct ball forward from Matip. It guts its way through to Sadio Mane, but he was in an offside position as the ball came to him, and that's a free kick to Swansea just outside their penalty area.
Swansea look positive though, looking at them, don't they, Connor? You got, Klukas, who's looking to push up alongside Ayew, Dyer on the other side. It's not as if they've set up to sit back tonight. I know the game will decide a lot of tactics wise, but the way Swansea have started, they've got 3 up top of the pitch. It's quite positive. I think Carvajal likes to do that. He does like to be on the free. He's a front foot manager.
Well, there's nowhere better to start on the front foot than the bottom of the table. There's only one way, and that's up for Swansea. And still, they do have the number of games left to complete the job. They are 6 points inside the relegation zone. Clubs have come back from a worse position than that in the past, but they need to get their skates on, particularly with the likes of Stoke and West Brom finding just a little bit of form in recent weeks. Swansea don't want to get set adrift. Norton clears the ball away up towards the halfway line. Ayew gets a little flick on it. Leroy Fer now trying to control inside the centre circle. Gets away from Emre Can and feeds it to Sam Klukas on the near touchline. Swansea's left, gives it back into Key. Warm applause from the Swansea fans. They want to see a bit more of this. Here comes Mike van der Hoorn, the Dutch defender, midway inside the Liverpool half. Sends it crossfield from right to left. Controlled by the Swede, Martin Olsson. Back in field to the Korean, Key. And then with no way through the Liverpool defence, he'll turn and give it back into his own half. But Swansea do hold on to possession, and it's worked by Van der Hoorn all the way back to the goalkeeper, Fabianski. The last team to beat Liverpool were Tottenham. It was at Wembley, and it was all the way back in October. Olsen gives the ball away rather cheaply, gave it straight to Gomez. Liverpool 10 yards inside their own half. Gomez back to Van Dijk, red boots to match his new Liverpool strip. And then Emre Can brings possession over the halfway line and lays it off to Sadio Mane. Matip comes up now, and now Liverpool have it on the right with Joe Gomez forward towards Mohamed Salah, who's not even got a touch of the ball in the game so far, and he won't get one there because it's been stolen away from him by Alfie Mawson. Pushes the ball in front of Jordan Ayew, but too far in front of him. He's fast, but he's not going to get to that. Now the ball goes out of play, and that is a throw into Liverpool, which Van Dijk takes immediately back to the goalkeeper. 0-0.
Good play from Alfie Mawson. The ball is rolled into Mo Salah. He steps in front, he carries it 20 yards, and he looks to play Ayew through. The ball just a bit too much. The pass was a bit heavy from Mawson into Ayew. Just ran out for a Liverpool throw in deep inside their own half. But solid from Mawson, looking to step in front of Salah.
Well, the talk of Jimmy Arfield tonight on 5 Live. Joe Gomez right back for Liverpool, right back, which was Jimmy's position. Joe Gomez's first start for England was against Brazil. Jimmy Armfield's first start for England, his first cap for England was against Brazil in the Maracanã in Rio. What a way to start your international career. Here is Emre Can to the near side to Joe Gomez, who we've just been discussing. Tries to send it down towards Wijnaldum, but it's been cut out by Martin Olsson. The ball goes out of play. Last touch off a Liverpool player. That will be a throw it to Swansea. Olsson takes it back to the edge of his own penalty area. Alfie Mawson to Fabianski. Liverpool try to press. Firmino runs in. And Fabianski clears it away high to the halfway line, where Emre Can is able to get it under his control. Just a little glance over his shoulder to see what's on. Plays it into space for Andy Robertson on the left-hand side. Back in field to Joel Matip. With John mentioning how Swansea are willing to push forward and be on the front foot, but when Liverpool have the ball, they're tucking back into a defensive formation. This new look 5 at the back for Carlos Carvajal, who's taken over for Paul Clement. And interesting, no Sanchez, Renato Sanchez, the wonder kid from Bayern Munich, who hasn't clicked at all. He's not even on the bench tonight. And Tammy Abraham, who was a doubt with a hip problem, so we assume that's the reason that he's not involved tonight. But it's got the feel of a new broom about it here as Chad plays it forward. Good run by Manny into the penalty area. There was no flag. It's still active as the goalkeeper spills, and Mawson's able to clear it away. Well, I think 99% of people in this stadium thought that was offside. Manny didn't. He played on and he almost scored.
That's a great ball in behind the Swansea defence. Mane, I think, timed his run to perfection, and his first touch actually let him down, which is very much unlike Mane. Normally, he's very clinical in them situations.
This is 5 Live for the BBC, the Premier League. We've played 9 minutes. Mane takes the ball away from Nathan Dyer. He's got Robertson with him, attacking position left-hand side for Liverpool. Back again to Mane, and Dyer crunches in and wins possession off him. And that brings a cheer from the Swansea supporters. He gets to the halfway line. He's closed down by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. And Nathan Dyer rolls the ball out of play. And that will be a throw into Liverpool.
This Mane just pulls on the shoulder of Van der Horn. Oh, and a keeper Fabianski actually comes out, and he's very brave, and he wins the ball at Mane's feet.
Swansea 0, Liverpool 0. That's the most dangerous activity Liverpool have had in an attacking sense so far. Swansea haven't had possession anywhere near the Liverpool penalty area just yet.
Well, Swansea's concentration levels tonight, Connor, need to be absolutely spot on, because this Liverpool team, they can turn the screw, and they can get goals from all areas, if you like, with the talent that they possess, especially in the final third.
A reminder, coming up tomorrow, it's the start of the semi-final second legs of the Carabao Cup. Bristol City against Manchester City. On Wednesday we'll have Arsenal against Chelsea. Commentary for you here on 5 Live. Tonight, Australian Open tennis, sometime around 3:30, 4 a.m. Kyle Edmund will be in action in his quarter-final at the Rod Laver Arena. We'll have commentary for you on 5 Live. And sooner than that, at half-time in this game, Charlie Adam will be joining us, the Stoke midfielder, a former Blackpool player who knew Jimmy Arfield very well. He'll be joining us at half-time here on 5 Live with Mark Chapman, as Liverpool tried to feed it up to Salah, who's not been in the game at all with 10 minutes played, and that pass was wayward and behind him, and they're going to have to do better than that, Liverpool, to bring their Egyptian superstar into the game.
Yeah, he made a good run up from Firmino there. Firmino was just a little bit sloppy, played it behind him. He wanted it to be played in front of Mane so he could stretch his legs and get in behind the Swansea defence. Just a little bit sloppy from Firmino.
24 goals for Liverpool in all competitions this season for Momo Salah. 15 goals in his last 15 games for Liverpool. That's in all competitions. Scored against Manchester City last weekend. He's in a central location, in with Firmino, with Mane more on the left-hand side as it's played by Robertson towards the edge of the penalty area. And again, Salah's finding himself very much a marked man. No room to breathe there, but the last touch comes off a defender, and that will be a corner to Liverpool on the left-hand side, and Oxlade-Chamberlain goes across to take. So Swansea 0, Liverpool 0.
You see Matip and Virgil van Dijk just making their way into the Swansea penalty box. The marking needs to be watertight from Swansea this evening.
Oxlade-Chamberlain takes it right-footed, high, swinging, headed away by Sam Klukas. Comes back to Firmino in the penalty area, just lofts one high in, and Fabianski comes off his goal line, and he's able to gather. Not the most cultured touch from Roberto Firmino there. Firmino's been on a hot streak of his own, 5 goals in his last 7 games. Swansea have possession. Mike van der Horn, former Ajax player, has it on the far side of the field from us. It's cold, but it's not too chilly here. I mean, you certainly need a coat, and many people have brought their scarves and hats, but you wouldn't say it's a bitterly cold evening here in South Wales. There's no rain, there's not much breeze, it's good conditions for football tonight as Leroy Fer plays it forward looking for Jordan Ayew, just slipped in behind him, and across came Matip. Not the greatest back pass he's ever given to Loris Karius, and the Liverpool goalkeeper has to scramble right along the byline, but he does clear the ball away. One of the stats that jumped out for me in the preparation for this game, Loris Karius, who's now been sort of officially anointed first choice goalkeeper for Liverpool, in his 4 Premier League appearances this season before tonight, he has conceded more goals than he's made saves. He's only made 3 saves in the 4 games he's been involved in. He's conceded 4 goals. But that's the decision Jurgen Klopp has made, and he's decided that Karius is preferable to Mignolet. But in all the money they've spent, you just feel they haven't quite sorted out the goalkeeping situation yet.
Yeah. 3 of them, of course, came 2 of them came really late at the weekend against Man City, didn't they?
Here is Mane, little back heel, low cross in by Robertson. They haven't dealt with it. Firmino's there, scrambled off the goal line, but I don't think it would have counted anyway. Martin Olsen cleared it away off the goal line, but the referee's whistle had already blown. But Liverpool were close there. It was a low, whipped corner. It struck the arm of Firmino. That can't be intentional handball, surely, but that's the decision the referee gave.
No, this hit right at Firmino's arm. I'm not too sure if he can get out of the way of that one, and the referee decided to give it a free kick anyway for a handball by Firmino, but very, very harsh.
He was pulling away. He had his arm in as close to his body as he possibly could be. It's not from far away. There's no way he can get his hand out of that position, but as it is, it was cleared off the line anyway by Olsen. It's 0-0 here. We've almost played quarter of an hour. John
He's just looking at it there, kind of when you were talking. I was watching Van Dijk, and he just won a towering header over Jordan Ayew. It's the wrong ball to play into Ayew, because that's a mismatch. It needs to be played down the side of Van Dijk tonight with Nathan Dyer, Jordan Ayew and Sam Klukas up there, up against Matic. Up against Matip and Van Dijk. Balls down the side, running in behind. That's for anything in the air tonight. Matip and Van Dijk will just eat them type of balls up.
We're live on BBC Radio 5 Live tonight, also on the BBC Sport app. You can listen on the BBC Sport website while perusing the live text commentary. Lovely tributes in there for Jimmy Arfield, as well as there has been across BBC Sport and BBC Radio 5 Live all afternoon. He was a much loved member of the team, and quite rightly that he was lauded so much. He would have been completely shocked with the entire fuss. He just played down how much everyone loved him. Here is Matip coming forward. Kyle Naughton is able to clear the ball away. Chan gives it to Joe Gomez, right hand side of the midfield for Liverpool. Forward to Salah, who's yet to sparkle in the game, and he won't do here as he's passed towards Firmino. Is cut out by Leroy Fer, and Swansea are doing all right here in the early stages, but they've got to keep up this hard labour, because Liverpool look dangerous every time they get on the ball as well. As Van der Hoorn slides in and puts the ball out of play on the far side, but you can tell the crowd are warming to the way that Swansea are getting stuck in here in the early stages.
Yeah, their system looks good when they're defending. They got like a flat back 5 with the 4 in front of that, so they're proven to be difficult to break down. It's when they've got the ball they need to be braver in possession and not give it away after a couple of passes. They just need a little spell themselves, just to throw Liverpool off slightly.
If Liverpool win here, it will be 6 consecutive wins in a row in all competitions. They haven't won that many in a row since Brendan Rodgers was in charge, former Swansea boss, of course. That was back when Liverpool almost won the league in 2014. They went 9 wins in succession for Brendan Rodgers then. Of course, just pipped to the title at the very end of the campaign. Here comes Wijnaldum attacking for Liverpool, and well handled by Leroy Fer. He just stayed on the right side of the law there, and Klukas has done Joe Gomez. He's got Ayew ahead of him into the penalty area for Swansea. Left hand side, good recovery by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and I think that's got out for a corner. Well, Ayew cut back from the byline. He shot the ball into the back of the net. However, the ball had already gone over the line, and it's going to be a corner. But the Swansea fans for just a moment thought they'd taken the lead against Liverpool.
Yeah, it came from Gomez. He tried to nick in front of Klukas. He gambled, but Klukas let it run across his body, and then he was away. He was on the counter-attack. Played in Ayew. Looked to go around Chan, I think it was, and Swansea end up with a corner.
Well, the ball did go out of play, so it's right that it didn't count. But Karius still tried to save it, and he was still beaten at his front post. Here comes the corner, played in by Key. Karius this time better, comes in with a swinging right arm, punches the ball away, back into the mix by Norton, but it's a poor cross, and that sails out for a goal kick to Liverpool, away to our left-hand side. But that was a chance for Swansea, and a little indicator to them that, you know, as much as we praise Liverpool going forward and as many goals as they score, they do have a defensive error or two in them, and we've seen that many times this season.
Yeah, that was Gomez. He just tried to nick in front of Klukas. Klukas was clever. He held out, and if Gomez doesn't win that and he's on his backside, he's made the lunge, that allowed Klukas then to make yards and push forward.
Matip in possession for Liverpool, centre circle, plays it on through Sadio Mane to Robertson on the left-hand side. Back now in field to Wijnaldum, but a good press from Swansea. Nathan Dyer getting right up in the face. Dyer, who, you know, many people forget, he made 12 appearances on loan for Leicester the year that Leicester won the league. He obviously wasn't one of the more heralded players in that squad, but he absolutely played his part for Claudio Ranieri and the success that they had. He would often come on late in the game and use that pace to sort of keep possession.
I thought you were going to say he made more than 10 appearances, so he got his Porsche.
Well, I'm sure
he got his 100 grand Porsche. I think
there was certainly a glamour car involved. I thought you were going to say, John, that he got his medal. No, for footballers the medals don't matter anymore. It's just the wheels.
Well, he's a Premier League winner. You can't take that away from him.
Absolutely.
Nathan Dyer.
Well, that's it. I think they all have fancy cars. Not many of them have Premier League medals.
Didn't the owner of the chair? I think he bought
did.
them.
No,
all
he did.
Porsches.
He did.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that brand, but he did buy them. He did buy them a fancy car.
Oh, it was a Maserati instead, was it?
Here is Van Dijk. Other models of luxury vehicle are available, as we like to point out at the BBC, not to give preferential treatment to anyone. Here is Van Dijk on the halfway line. He's got Robertson available on the left-hand side. In towards Firmino, he's in the penalty area, stretches, does get his head to it, but it's the barest of flick-ons, and it doesn't go anywhere near Salah, and Fabianski comes off his line and gathers. So we've played 20 minutes, John Hartson. I think Swansea will be pretty pleased with what they've seen so far.
Well, I think so. You know, Fabianski hasn't had anything to do really in the Swansea goal, and Liverpool, we know of their threat, of course, but it's just taken them a little bit longer to get going this evening. That maybe is because Swansea, they've dug in, they're defending really well, they're getting back in numbers, difficult to break down, and it's proven to be a frustrating night for the Reds at the moment in time.
This is the 7th time that Liverpool have come here to play in the league at Liberty Stadium. They've only won in 2 of their previous 6 visits here. Well, you know, if the crowd get behind Swansea, if they feel that they're in the game, it can make it difficult for visiting sides, and particularly the, you know, inverted commas, high-profile visiting sides. Many times over the years been here, but I've seen Manchester United struggle, seen Arsenal struggle here. You know, once they get the blood up, Swansea can dig in. Of course,
they will,
and
to think kind of the Swansea at bottom of the league. There's a full house here tonight. You know, they're sticking with them. All they need, all they want from Swansea is some good play, you know, some attacking football, and not to concede early. I think it was always the key tonight, to not be a goal down after 20-25 minutes. That is the case, so very much still in the game.
Here is Mane, who's dropped deep and gives it back to Matip. Now Gomez on the near side. First touch football as Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain helps it on to Salah. Looked like he was being fouled there by Alfie Mawson. The referee blows the whistle, and it's a free kick to Liverpool around about 12-14 yards outside the penalty area. But he's been well shackled so far. Is Momo Salah, Liverpool's top scorer.
Well, Salah, Mane and Firmino, I keep saying, yes, we know all about their quality, their flair, the power of Firmino, but it's been quite a sloppy start from them. But it's a free kick here. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Salah both over the ball on Swansea's left-hand side.
So there is going to be a sort of quasi 2-man wall erected. They're not going to shoot from here, surely, Liverpool, but Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will try and bend it in with his right boot. And Liverpool have committed a lot of bodies forward, right on the edge of the penalty areas where Swansea are holding the defensive line. Fabianski decked out all in green, standing inside his 6-yard box. And with almost exactly 22 minutes on the clock, we're approaching the midway point in the first half. Oxlade-Chamberlain, that's not a bad delivery at all, but Norton heads it out for a corner. Couldn't get a Liverpool player on the end of it, but it was a good free kick.
It was a brilliant free kick from Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's whipped it in swinger with his right foot, in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. inviting for a Liverpool head there to get on the ball.
So corner to Liverpool on the left-hand side. They've had that one chance with Mane when it looked like he might have been offside. But Liverpool yet to get a proper shot on target. Here is a header from Virgil van Dijk, but it's across the face of goal and wide. Scored against Everton, almost got one on his full Premier League debut for Liverpool as well.
He gets away from Fernandes, he gets a run on him. You've got to be, as I said, watertight with players like Van Dijk. All he needs is half a yard. Decent header, just skimmed past Fabianski's far post.
Liverpool have had no problem in scoring goals away from home lately. Each of their last 6 away games, they've scored 2 goals or more. But 0-0 here for the moment. Ball goes out of play, throw into Liverpool, close to the halfway line. Carlos Carvajal is screaming something at the referee. Liverpool take the throw in and send it back to Karius, who has been beaten once in the game, but the goal disallowed because the ball had already gone out of play before Ayew brought it back in again. But Karius at the time did play on, and he was beaten at his front post. This is Wijnaldum to Matip on the halfway line. Liverpool playing from left to right as we look down. Matip, good ball forward to Sadio Mane, and now on to Firmino, just outside the penalty area. Good run by Robertson. Firmino's made it a real chase for him. It was too much, the pass. Robertson sprinted, got there, but the ball had crossed the line.
It's a simple pass as well. It's a simple pass. Firmino standing on the edge of the Swansea City's penalty area, and Robertson's making a great run round the outside. All he has to do is just measure that pass with the perfect weight, and he overhits the ball. Overhits it out for a Swansea goal kick. It's a really, really simple pass. Just taking a bit more care, that's all it is from Firmino.
That's the voice of John Hartson watching this game with us here tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. Here's an illustration of the gulf between these two teams. Swansea have scored 22 goals in all competitions this season. Momo Salah has scored more for Liverpool by himself this campaign than the entire Swansea team.
Well, that is what Swansea are up against tonight. This is why they have to be disciplined. They have to defend properly. Track runners, organised, all these things that can get you a result in a football match against a terrific footballing team like Liverpool, what we've seen at times this season.
Does it suit Liverpool better, John, to play against a team who come to all-out attack them? You know, say the way Manchester City on the attack last weekend, Liverpool can use that pace to get in behind. Is it more difficult when Swansea sit deep?
100%. There's no space in behind at the minute. Swansea are almost camped on the edge of their penalty box. Liverpool are finding it difficult. We've seen a few sloppy passes, mistimed passes. Liverpool certainly would rather play a more expansive, open game. But they probe in, they will keep probing all evening against Swansea. They will look to try and break them down.
Possession given away by Swansea in the midfield. Emre Can on to Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's on the right wing at the moment. Been put under pressure by Klukas. That's good work by Klukas, forcing Oxlade-Chamberlain to give it back to the halfway line. Matip will now come forward for Liverpool, whose Champions League campaign will resume shortly, early in February. They've been drawn against Porto in the last 16, which sounds, by Champions League standards. They'll take that. That's doable. Here is Van Dijk creeping forward and rolling it out into space for Andy Robertson on the left-hand side. Liverpool encamped inside Swansea territory. Swansea pretty much with all their players back in the final third at the moment, and it's so, between the deepest lying outfield player for Swansea and the furthest forward one, you're talking 20 yards maximum. Very condensed.
I mentioned earlier on about the fact that Swansea are positive. They started the game with Klukas, Ayew and Dyer in forward positions, but they're just doing so much defending right now, and they've got to get themselves goal side of the ball. That's what Swansea are doing.
If Liverpool win here tonight, they'll go level on points with Chelsea in third place. Chelsea would stay third on goal difference. Robertson crosses from the left-hand side. Mawson, right-footed first time, volleys it clear, and that goes into the spectators in the far side. If Swansea lose tonight, they would be 6 points from safety, having played the same number of games as all the other clubs down at the wrong end of the table, and how congested it is in the bottom half.
It is, with Arsenal to come and Leicester away the next 2 Premier League games.
Yeah,
doesn't get easier at this level, Conor.
Absolutely not. It's not easy tonight. Salah plays it on to Oxlade-Chamberlain, just cut out on the edge of the penalty area by Key. Those moments when a last gasp defensive action is needed, Swansea have so far been up to it tonight. Key here, who's got mud all over his shirt already, and he plays the ball out to the far side, and Mike van der Hoorn, who'll come up towards the halfway line, rolls it into Leroy Fer, but Liverpool press, and Mane goes in pursuit, and Key now has got to turn away from Emre Can, and it just forces you to play the pass you don't want to play when you're pressed, and Swansea almost lose possession there, but Mawson on the edge of his own penalty area, infield to Key, and now to Martin Olsen. I mean, ever since Brendan Rodgers brought them up into the Premier League, Roberto Martinez, I should say, before that, they've always been comfortable on the ball, Swansea, haven't they? That's something you would say about this team through Laudrup, when Toshak was here. They always look comfortable in possession.
Always been a good passing team, Swansea City, good on the eye. Good passers. Leon Britton, of course, has been a real mainstay for them over the last 10 years. Keeps it flowing in the middle of the park, Leon Britton.
Fer fouls Firmino. Firmino takes the free kick very quickly. And Fer now goes in to have a little nibble behind Mane, but he can't knock him off the ball. Gomez will look to cross from the right hand side, and that's a poor cross.
Kicked the
little
floor.
daisy cook. He did.
He kicked the floor. Yeah. He had a lot of time as well. Gomez could have took a touch, got it out of his feet and picked somebody out. He had that much time on the ball.
Swansea 0, Liverpool 0, and a reminder that coming up once the live football is over tonight at 10 p.m, our special programme, Jimmy Armfield, a football gentleman. It was originally aired, I think, back around August time. Fantastic chat with Jimmy and Mark Pugac, and so much discussed there. And I was listening back to it today, John, that programme with Jimmy Armfield, and he was like, the movie Forrest Gump, where he kept popping up in all the important moments in history. Jimmy Armfield was there at all the important moments in football. Stanley Matthews played against Pele, managed a team that beat Barcelona in the new camp, the Johan Cruyff Barcelona. He took over from Brian Clough at Leeds. What a big story that was. And there's Jimmy just coming in. He was there for so many of the big moments. Here is Salah for Liverpool. Tries to hit it. Very difficult technique of the penalty area. And he booms it up and over the top.
What a chance. It's Virgil van Dijk. He's in the middle of the Swansea half, and he dinks a ball over the Swansea defence. Salah times his run to perfection. What a pass, and he tries to hit it first time on the volley. If he keeps it down, it goes in. He hits it over the bar, but what a brilliant chance from Salah, and an outstanding pass in from Van Dijk.
Yeah, he needed the technique of David Platt in the Italian 90.
But to get it up and down over the Swans' back four, really big chance for Liverpool, best chance of the game so far.
It was a super pass. It needed top class technique, which we know Salah does have, and he very nearly executed.
You wouldn't want anybody in that position other than Salah.
Yeah. Here come Liverpool again. Robertson out towards Mane on the far side into Firmino. Liverpool just beginning to up the tempo here. It's like they've clicked from third gear up into fourth as Mane scoops one into the box for Firmino to chase after this time, and he does get there, but not in time to control the ball, and that just runs out for a goal kick.
Well, Swansea at this moment in time, how long have we played? Half an hour. They're just containing. They're doing a containing job on Liverpool. They've come out, they've set up three at the back. They're getting their full-back. They can't get the full-backs forward. Four across the middle. Yes, when they get into Liverpool's half, they are trying to throw bodies forward, but that's a dangerous game to play against this Liverpool team because they counter so well.
Still quarter of an hour or so to go until half-time. 5 Live for the BBC, the Premier League on this Monday night. Liverpool came here 3 years ago on a Monday night. They won by a 0-0. As Van der Hoorn wins a header inside the centre circle. He's hurt himself. Initially I thought is it the way he landed, but I think he might have been collided into by Firmino in the air, and that will be a free kick to Swansea.
Yeah, Firmino just comes across Van der Hoorn there. I think he just catches him in the side of his legs. A free kick, nothing more than that. That's what you want. You want your big centre forward to compete.
Here is Alfie Mawson, who started every Premier League game so far this season for Swansea. Sprays along, 50-yard pass right onto the instep of Kyle Naughton. Tries to release Nathan Dyer, but there's no way through there. A chance now for Liverpool to come on the counter-attack, and for once Swansea aren't lying deep. Salah to Firmino, onto Emre Can, had to stretch to control it. Good challenge by Alfie Mawson, that'll win back possession. Martin Olsen clears it away, but that's the danger for Swansea. If they push forward and leave any sort of gaps at the back, Liverpool will be right in there.
Well, within 3 or 4 passes then Liverpool are on the edge of Swansea City's penalty box. That's how quick they break. It just broke down with Emre Can. Again, a little bit of a sloppy pass. But when Liverpool get it right and the passing is crisp, that's when they're at their very, very best.
Big football,
and most dangerous.
Big football news today. The Sanchez-Mkhitaryan swap between Manchester United and Arsenal. More of that on 5 Live later on. For now, scoreless between Swansea and Liverpool. And here is Joe Gomez on the right-hand side of midfield, laying the ball back into Emre Can. And probably the best chance we've had for a goal in the game has been that header from Virgil van Dijk that was wide. Nice little build-up by Liverpool. A flying backheel volley by Matip, which nearly created something. And Swansea are delighted to get it away as far as Oxlade-Chamberlain. His shot is on target, but saved by Fabianski. There was so much happening there. There was a little flick and a jink, and Matip very nearly executed a wonderful volleyed backheel, and that's what he was trying to do, to cross it to Mane, and it almost got to him.
A very audacious backflip from Matip, yes. Mane was involved, Firmino was involved, Salah it was that put in Matip, and in the end it's a great half volley from Oxlade-Chamberlain. Fabianski smothers really well.
Here come Swansea on the left-hand side, but Olsen is held up in his tracks by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Swansea hold on to the ball, but it's back to the halfway line. And Federico Fernandez, now they'll come forward to the right. Norton, good ball, up to Ayew, trying to hold it up. He's got Matip behind him. Norton's continue the run. This is good. Down the right-hand side, sends in the cross, looking for Ayew again. And Liverpool scramble away. Van Dijk puts it out for a throw.
Yeah, Norton it was on the right side for Swansea. Looks to cut it back, but Van Dijk, great positioning from the big new record signing for Liverpool.
Emre Can, by the way, is the Liverpool captain tonight, as Norton prepares to take the throw in on the far side. If you're just joining our coverage on 5 Live, 0-0. Swansea starting with a back 5, and they have been sitting deep for much of the game. And Van Dijk's had a header off target. Andre Ayew did have the ball in the back of the net, but it was disallowed because when he cut it back from the byline, the ball had left the field of play before he brought it back in again. Free kick for a foul on Nathan Dyer. Free kick to Swansea. Attacking position down the right. That's a few yards outside the penalty area.
Well, Swansea have to just make the most of these situations. They're wide right. They've got Klukas and Key. Both can deliver a great ball into the box. Van Dijk there, you might feel a little bit unfortunate. I think he stepped on the back of Dyer. Dyer's gone over, won the free kick. So these are the little opportunities. The Swansea may not get many tonight, so they're relying on good delivery into the Liverpool box.
So they've committed a lot of players forward here, Swansea. Martin Olsen is back near the centre circle. Even then he's, encroaching into the Liverpool half. But everyone else of an outfield persuasion for Swansea is up in around the penalty area. Dyer and Norton are loitering on the edge. The others are in the box. Key places the ball, played in, good delivery. Van Dijk wins the header. Norton was following up, volleys it way off target. That is why Liverpool played the money for Virgil van Dijk. He executed that header under a lot of pressure there to get it away.
Yeah, he's great in both boxes, good at attacking from set pieces 4 and also against 6'5". He's a hell of a size of a player, very convincing. And I think you'll get a lot of goals for Liverpool from set pieces this season, and he'll head quite a few out of his own box.
Yeah, he's had an enterprising start as Virgil van Dijk. He's just holding the rear of his back, the lower back area. I don't think it's anything too serious. He's on the ball at the moment and running freely now, but just tweaked the back a little bit as he headed the ball away there. Gomez gives away possession cheaply. He's not having his best game for Liverpool tonight, Joe Gomez. Ayew to Olsen. Gomez canters back. Good sliding challenge to put the ball out of play. That's exactly it. Makes up for it.
He gave the ball away and he chased Olsen back, and he's just gone through the ball on the man. Is great strong tackle from Gomez. That made up for it.
Swansea 0, Liverpool 0. Great to have John Hartson with us tonight here at the Liberty Stadium. As Leroy Fer has possession midway inside the Liverpool half. It's a good pass out to Kyle Norton on the right hand side. Didn't quite steady himself before the cross though, and that was as wayward as his attempted goal a moment ago. It's way over the crossbar.
First little bit of a little sound of disgruntled supporters there, because Norton is better than that. He's got himself in a forward position, get it out your feet and deliver a really good ball into that Liverpool danger area, and he hits it behind the goal, and that's why there's a few fans disappointed with that, because they know Norton's better than that.
Just seeing a note on social media, and I know this is a joke, by the way, from Tim Stillman on Twitter. Obviously, with Alexis Sanchez leaving Arsenal today, so he's watching this game. He says Chamberlain shoots, Fabianski saves. Look how much everyone improves when they leave Arsenal.
Oh, I tell you what, they'd love to still have Sanchez. It's their own fault, Arsenal. You can't let players' contracts run down like that, especially world-class players like him.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see how Alexis Sanchez improves Jose Mourinho's team. He's been given the number 7, if you didn't catch that earlier on today. Not a bad shirt to have. No. Not a bad few predecessors in that jersey. George Best and Beckham and Ronaldo, and they've all had it. Here's a cross from Gomez, and it bounces inside the 6-yard box. It's actually still a play. Norton is able to clear it away.
Don't forget Brian Robson.
Absolutely, yeah. Here is Cantona, of course, was number 7. And I'm sure there's 1 or 2 lesser lights, but those are quite big boots to fill, big number to fill at Manchester United. But Alexis Sanchez could just be the man to do it. I think, unlike a lot of the players that he's got, Jose Mourinho, he's got Champions League experience, he's got big club experience, he won the big trophies, international stage as well.
What I like about him, Connor, whenever he gets on the ball, he is always looking to make something happen, is Sanchez. He's not just happy to take to the field and say, I'll have 2 or 3 decent touches. He's always looking to have an impact in the game.
Let's see if Swansea can impact here. Decent cross, Olsen from the left. There was 3 up there, and it's put out for a corner by Van Dijk. That was a really dangerous drops for Swansea, and it's almost like they've weathered the storm a bit from Liverpool and are beginning to impose themselves on the game again now, the home side.
Yeah, much better from Olsen, this time on the left hand side, whipped in a really good ball. That man again, Van Dijk, he has cleared everything out of that Liverpool penalty area tonight.
Is Virgil van Dijk the missing piece in the Liverpool jigsaw? Can he give them the defensive stability that can see the team push on? As Key delivers the corner. He's put an awful lot on that. Mawson's in the back post, tries to head it down, and eventually it goes out for another corner. I thought Key had overstruck that, but it actually worked out okay. Corner again.
He's disappointed there, Van Dijk, because he feels he should have volleyed that out for a throw-in. It's actually come off the outside of his left foot for a corner.
Virgil van Dijk, if you ever watch a sort of a schools match and there's one really big kid who wins everything in the air, that's what he's been in the penalty area at both ends in this game so far.
Head and shoulders, you call it.
Yeah. 5 minutes till half time. Here comes the corner, decent delivery. Van Dijk particularly wins the header, but turned into the back of the net by Alfie Mawson. It's his 3rd goal of the season. Van Dijk's header didn't fully clear the penalty area, and Mawson did not stand on ceremony. First time, low into the bottom corner. Laureus Karius is beaten, and Swansea lead Liverpool 1-0. What about this?
Yeah, Van Dijk just couldn't quite get the distance on the header. He heads it down. It's a little couple of ricochets off a few players, and Alfie Mawson swivels, hits it on the half volley, on the half turn, and it's a really good finish past Karius, bottom right hand corner of his goal. Swansea, with 4 minutes before half time, take the lead.
Alfie Mawson, who scored against Leicester earlier on in the Premier League. He scored in the League Cup this season. He has scored a crucial goal, and Carlos Carvajal was engulfed in hugs down on the touchline there when that ball went in, and he was absolutely delighted. He knows the importance of this game tonight for Swansea not to get set adrift.
When you said, Connor, 30 seconds ago, you said Swansea have weathered the storm, and that's exactly what they've done. Liverpool not quite been at their best, not as quite been as clinical as what they normally have been. We saw the chance from Salah, which was a great chance, but take nothing away from that finish from the big centre half. Alfie Mawson tucked it away nicely.
Very good finish. He has scored more Premier League goals than any other Swansea defender. Not just this season, since Swansea have been in the top flight. Fernandes, who has had to leave the field. I've just seen the action replay. Why? This is like, who was it? Was this Steve Morrow was injured in the celebration at Wembley all those years ago for Arsenal? Federico Fernandes has been injured in the goal-scoring celebration there. He ran over to celebrate with Alfie Mawson. As players do, he's jumping up on his back. Another player comes and jumps on his back. It's actually a wonder this doesn't happen more often. But they go straight into the back of his head, forcing his nose onto the skull of Mawson, and he's got a completely bloody nose. He needs a completely new kit down there. They've patched him up. He's even had to take off his shorts.
And Swansea defending with 10 men 3 minutes before half-time.
Liverpool on the attack. Mane tries to cross. Hacked away by Jordan Ayew, who's the striker, but he's playing back a defender now because they're down to 10 men. Swansea, who've got the lead here. The goal from Alfie Mawson, but in bizarre circumstances, Federico Fernandes has picked up an injury in the celebration of the goal. You don't see that very often. Robertson's cross from the left-hand side, straight into the body of Kyle Norton. Tell you what, it's going to be a good game now because Swansea have got their heads up, they've got their lead, and Liverpool are going to have to come and attack them. And a foul on Ayew by Robertson and a free kick to Swansea, and Ayew jumps back to the ground and wants words with Robertson, and it's all gotten a bit feisty here now, and Robertson must have said something because the referee is calling him over, and I think Andy Robertson's going in the car. Yeah, he's getting a yellow card.
Robertson yellow card.
It's all happening at the Liberty
Stadium.
Stadium.
Happening. I was almost about to say 2 or 3 minutes ago, Swansea will be delighted to get in half-time 0-0. Amount of possession and amount of free-flowing passing Liverpool have had. But all of a sudden they go in 1-0. What a massive bonus for the home side that could be.
90 seconds of normal time in the first half remaining. Alfie Mawson with the goal separates the teams. Good strike. First proper attempt on target at Karius, and he was beaten low down to his right-hand side. Wijnaldum in possession. Tries to clear it away. Just going to update those stats on Loris Karius. He's now conceded 5 goals in the Premier League this season. He's only made 3 saves. Maybe a bit unfair to throw that spotlight on him, but when you're Liverpool goalkeeper, that's the attention you're going to get. Norton takes the throw to the far side. Liverpool just look unsteady at the moment. Let's see if Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain can steady the ship. As Gomez comes over the halfway line, that's a good ball up towards Salah. Salah, who's been anonymous really in the game so far. He's had that one attempt of a volley. We've hardly mentioned him otherwise. Chan, Liverpool's captain tonight, pushes the ball in front of Andy Robertson, encouraging him forward. Now it's back to Wijnaldum midway inside the Swansea half and back to the defence again, and Joel Matip. And Swansea are working really hard down there to limit the opportunities for Liverpool as Leroy Fer wins it back again. Nathan Dyer now, that's a dangerous pass back along the edge of his own penalty area. Swansea just about get away with it. Matip comes in with a late challenge and he's taken down Klukas, and the referee reaches for the card again, and it's another yellow, 2 in quick succession for Liverpool. This one for Joel Matip. 1 minute being added on for stoppages at the end of the first half.
That's Robertson and Matip booked within 2 minutes.
So 2 of the Liverpool back 4 in the referee's notebook. Jurgen Klopp looks a little bit dumbstruck down there. He's sitting in the technical area, talking with his assistants. This is not how he saw the game plan working out tonight. Often this season Liverpool score a few early goals, they might concede a few then, but at that stage they've got their noses in front. Tonight they've got to come from behind, away from home at Liberty Stadium. So this is going to be a free kick to be taken by the man who scored the goal tonight, Alfie Mawson. Long ball into the Liverpool penalty area. Predictably, Virgil van Dijk wins the header. Dyer tries to pick it up, but he's out-muscled by Wijnaldum. Liverpool with a chance of a counter-attack here. Key, he's very weak there, and that Firmino pass is going to set away Salah. Good run by Mane into the penalty. What a goal this will be! He's put it wide! Well, that would have been a sparkling goal for Liverpool. Salah's chip into the penalty area. I'm not saying it was easy, but Mane's got that in his locker and he isn't able to execute. He puts it wide.
Oh, it's a good chance, Connor. It's a really good chance for Mane. A player of his quality is coming over his shoulder and he hits it wide. At worst, you've got to hit the target there. Set up beautifully from Salah. into his path. Just goes to show the concentration levels. Swansea, on Liverpool on the counter. Swansea be delighted 1-0 up.
There we go. It's half-time. They make their way towards the changing rooms. Alfie Mawson's goal separates the teams. Swansea, who had to absorb a lot of pressure, John Hartson, in that first half, but they've been rewarded. And the big question now is, can they hold on to this lead?
Well, Swansea, they soaked up a lot of pressure. They rode their luck at times. Salah's had a great chance. We just saw Manny there seconds before the half-time whistle went. A good chance. Liverpool a bit wasteful. Swansea taking advantage, but Liverpool, I have to say, for the listeners, nowhere near their scintillating best, by the way.
Absolutely. So there we go. Swansea 1, Liverpool 0. The goal from Alfie Mawson, and Mark Chapman, as Jimmy Armfield would say, I was right behind that. Great goal.
They've nicked it, haven't they, Swansea? John Hartson, really, in that first 45 minutes. I don't, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I'm not being derogatory there, but they've nicked a 1-0 lead at half-time.
Well, that's what they've done, Mark. They've hung in there. They've rode their luck. Salah had a great chance, came over his shoulder, brilliant ball from Van Dijk. He just set up Mane there, who should have scored, a player of his quality. Not the easiest of chances, but I've seen him score more difficult opportunities than that this season, Mane. Swansea have hung in there. They've defended strongly and they scored from a set piece. And these type of results, Mark, can turn teams' fortunes around. Swansea rock bottom. How many times did we see Paul Clement nick results like this towards the end of last season?
And I saw a tweet from joe.co.uk that said, and you can understand their thinking here, genuinely think Liverpool would have a better chance of winning the Premier League if they played the top 10 4 times each and just avoided the bottom half altogether.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
it's remarkable, isn't it? They fly out the blocks against the bigger teams.
Yeah. It's a more open game then, though, Mark, because the other team, Man City, will also go for it. They're not worried about sitting behind the ball, parking the bus. They want to play expansive football. They've got players to do that. Tonight, Swansea, you can't knock them for it, because player for player, you look at Liverpool, their front three, Mane, Firmino and Salah. Swansea have to be a little bit conservative and defensive, and tonight they've got them noses in front. I just hope now they don't just camp themselves on Swansea's 18-yard box and invite pressure, because I think if they do that, Liverpool are good enough to break them down.
John, Connor, for the moment, thank you very much. Gavin, a Liverpool fan, the sooner we reinforce the team with a reliable goalkeeper, a playmaker and a striker, the more stronger and competitive we will be. And Ian says this is where we will see how much we miss Coutinho. This is 5 Live Sport on a Monday evening. Swansea 1, Liverpool 0 at half-time. And during the half-time break, we'll talk to the Stoke midfielder Charlie Adam, who, of course, played for Blackpool as they were promoted to the Premier League. And we'll get his thoughts on Jimmy Armfield on the day that the former England captain died. 10 to 9. Here's Alison Hughes.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
The former England and Blackpool captain Jimmy Armfield has been described as a national hero after his death at the age of 82. He never left football, becoming a manager, then a highly respected and well-liked BBC pundit after retiring as a player. Jimmy's former England teammate Sir Geoff Hurst says he'll be greatly missed.
It's always a shock when the people you've grown up with and played with and be with for a long time, over 50-odd years. Jimmy, a great part of our group, part of the World Cup, one of our great fullbacks, and one of the nicest guys you could have wished to meet.
A court has heard that a man accused of driving a van into a crowd of people outside a mosque in North London intended to kill as many Muslims as possible. Darren Osborne denies murdering 51-year-old Makram Ali and trying to kill 9 others in June last year. Tesco is scrapping 1,700 jobs as part of cost-cutting plans. The supermarket chain says it will try to find other roles for those affected where possible. UKIP's leader Henry Bolton has announced a significant and urgent reform of the party's ruling executive committee after it issued a vote of no confidence in him. A dozen senior party members have stepped down in an attempt to force him to quit after his ex-girlfriend sent a number of racist texts. Mr Bolton insists he's focused on improving the party.
The NEC, as presently constituted, is unfit for purpose and has severely handicapped the party's progress and political delivery for some years. It has not only lost the confidence of me as the party leader, It has also lost the confidence of a large proportion of the party's membership.
2 men have been sentenced to at least 34 years each in jail for murdering the businessman Guy Hedger during a break-in at his home in Dorset. Jason Backus and Kevin Downton had denied the charges. The US Senate has reached agreement on government spending to stop the current federal shutdown, at least for another 2.5 weeks. The Democrats say in exchange, the Republicans will negotiate on what happens to thousands of migrants brought to the US illegally as children who are now facing deportation.
5 Live Podcasts.
I'm always one word away from getting the sack. I think we all are. In our industry we work in, you say something wrong.
I think that ship has sailed, Rob.
What?
I think that ship has sailed a few times.
Flintoff, Savage, Sayed.
I think cricket is a tougher game in the sense that...
They have sandwiches.
That's how tough it is. We need to eat.
For lunch.
Download the award-winning Flintoff, Savage and the Ping Pong Guy podcast.
This is like teaching an Alsatian to sing.
Search 5 Live in your podcast app.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Half-time at the Liberty Stadium, Swansea lead Liverpool by 1-0 through Alfie Mawson's strike. Elsewhere, Manchester United have signed Alexis Sanchez from Arsenal in a swap deal with Henrik Mkhitaryan. Sanchez has signed a 4.5-year deal. Kevin De Bruyne has signed a new deal at Manchester City that runs until 2023. Michael O'Neill has turned down the chance to succeed Gordon Strachan as Scotland manager, and he remains contracted with Northern Ireland until 2020. And the England Test captain Joe Root will miss the forthcoming T20 tri-series against Australia and New Zealand. He'll go back to England for a break and will then return for the 5-match one-day series against New Zealand, which starts in Hamilton on the 25th of February. Thank you very much for still getting in touch tonight on 85058 and at 5 Live Sport about Jimmy Armfield. Glenn says, one of the outstanding voices of my youth. Louis, always enjoyed hearing his opinions as he always seemed so level-headed and sincere. Jimmy just saw and said things as they were, which today would be refreshing. It is 7 minutes to 9 o'clock and it is time to bring in this man.
So free kick to Blackpool. It's about 30 yards from goal, right of centre. So it favours the left foot of Charlie Adam. David Marshall, the goalkeeper, just organising his wall. He's a former Celtic goalkeeper against the former Rangers midfielder. Adams free kick, brilliant goal. That is Charlie Adam at his best. 30 yards, top corner, and what a final we have here today. Blackpool 1, Cardiff 1. Brilliant equaliser from Charlie Adam.
Charlie Adam scoring at Wembley on the day Blackpool were promoted to the Premier League. A very proud day for Jimmy Armfield, as Ian Holloway told us earlier. Charlie, it brought tears to Jimmy's eyes that day.
Yeah, I can still remember his face now. Obviously, the sad passing today, but yeah, he could see the joy and the delight for everyone, and he was one of the biggest supporters of, like, because we were doing so well. He was always there, and he was a joy to know, and it's a sad day.
What did he offer to you as a modern player?
I think he offers us a lot of experience. You know, obviously, you know what he achieved at Blackpool, 600 odd games, the experience of manager at Leeds, and you know, European Cups and things like that. He was just a terrific man, and you know, I always remember having conversations every other week. He was in the training ground, probably most weeks he was in the training ground, and giving advice to everybody really. And he was just there. If you ever needed to speak to him, he was just there on hand and learning from him. And I think he was one of the proudest men when we got promoted, and it was a delight to actually know him.
Yeah, you say he was always there to offer advice, but he wouldn't offer advice unless asked. Would that be fair? Do you see what I mean? He'd be in the background unless you needed him. Would that be fair?
He was never. Listen, he was a legend of the club, and he was never one who would come in and try and butt in. You know, he would always just, if he was there, he was. You know, he was Umbro jacket on, as I said today, and a little piece I done on Twitter and Instagram, that he was always there with his Umbro jacket on, and he was just there to have advice if you wanted it. And I remember one conversation having with him, and it sticks to my mind now, that, you know, we were chatting and he was just talking about Blackpool and what we could achieve, and he just turned around and said to me, "Listen, son, you're the best player I've ever seen play for Blackpool." And I was like, wow, I just couldn't believe it. And it was just, he just said, everything that you do just reminds me of, you know, being a top player, and you were just, you know, and that's what he just felt, that I made a contribution to that club. And it's always stuck with me that day. And it's unfortunately now you only realise, and you can only talk about it when somebody like that passes away.
You've been to Jimmy's statue this evening, haven't you, or this afternoon outside Bloomfield Road?
Yeah, I just went earlier tonight, just when it was a bit dark and there was nobody there. It's just appropriate to go and have a moment with such a legend. And I'll lay one of my jerseys down because I feel that he gave a lot to the club and to the town. To the church, to the local charities. He was an amazing man, and he thoroughly deserves every accolade. Everybody's talking about him and everything that's been said about him today.
I don't know if you found this when you were in his company, but talking earlier to Mark Pugach and John Murray, and we were all saying when we were in a press room with him or a commentary box with him, it was very much, you sort of wanted to go, come on, tell us another story about Sir Stanley Matthews, or tell us another story about playing for England in the 62 World Cup, because he'd been there and done it. Tell us about managing Leeds in the European Cup.
So it's different for you, but when we were in the club, that was what he always spoke about. That was one of the things, that open conversation. Yeah. It was when I was in the World Cup, when I played for England, when I was manager at Leeds, it was what he did, and he was a well-respected man, and when people like that talk, you listen, and we did that, and we took a lot from him, and the experience that we got from him, and even all the way speaking earlier, I've been listening to the show tonight, and somebody like that, to take that on board and have that guidance, it's amazing.
Thank you, Charlie. I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Charlie Adam, former Blackpool midfielder on 5 Live Sport. From 10 tonight, we will remember Jimmy in his own words. We will replay in full Jimmy Armfield, a football gentleman. So that is between 10 and 11:30 tonight on 5 Live Sport. Alan Green worked closely with Jimmy for 36 years, and he has fond memories of working alongside the former England captain.
Ultimately, he just loved football. He may have seen things in the modern game that he disapproved of.
He wanted it to be a bit more physical, for example.
Oh, yes,
so,
exactly. Exactly. Players going down too easily. But say certain aspects of today's game, like players earning a lot of money when he was on a maximum wage. He didn't resent that. He just recognised it as being very different. And it meant that whereas Jimmy, in his Blackpool days, would have got the bus to the ground and therefore mixed with supporters. And I always think, I don't know if he ever did, but if Jimmy had ever kissed his badge, every Blackpool fan, every visiting fan would have recognised that's a genuine feeling. Yes, he loves Blackpool Football Club. Today we don't have that feeling, do we? We're thinking X has kissed the badge. He scored a great goal, but let's not be fooled. If X is offered an extra few million by another club 2 years down the line, he'll take it. So the affinity between supporters and a man like Jimmy Armfield was what was best about football. I think we've lost that to a large degree now.
There's been an outpouring of love and affection today, as you would expect. But that love and affection was also evident wherever you went with Jimmy to a ground, from both public and press box alike.
You're absolutely right. And I remember it was the same feeling as I had when I was working with Dennis Law, that there was a genuine relationship between Dennis and Jimmy and all football fans. There was total respect towards Jimmy as a player and as a manager. And for me, growing up, hearing about Jimmy's exploits as a player, and it's easily forgotten, he was a really good footballer. And he was a really good manager as well, taking Leeds to a European Cup final. But when I first met Jim properly in 1982, it was as much personal for me as it was professional. Jimmy was my surrogate father in England. And that's how he treated me. He knew I was the sort of commentator that would go close to the line a few times a day, never mind a few times a season. And he sort of put his hand on my knee and basically saying, back off, Alan, back off, Alan. He was looking after me. And I so valued that.
You talk about him putting his hand on your knee to calm you down. Joe Jordan, I heard on Drive a little earlier, saying when he was a summariser, he was never a critic.
That's absolutely right. And again, it stems from his love of the game. Jimmy might deep down have felt rather more adverse criticism of a tackle or the way a club was being run, as no doubt he felt about Blackpool in the last few years and concerns about the ownership of Blackpool and the way the fans had reacted to that. But he made sure that it did not disrupt his love of Blackpool Football Club. And when he was summarising, when I was sitting alongside him, I don't remember him being adversely critical because he was so constructive in what he had to say. He was always looking for the right thing, the right path for this game or this momentum to carry, and not set out to be critical just to make a name for himself. That wasn't Jim.
Alan Green, Five Live football commentator from 10 tonight then till 11:30. Jimmy, in his own words, we will replay Jimmy Armfield, a football gentleman. They're back underway at the Liberty Stadium. John Hartson and Conor McNamara.
Thank you very much, Mark. The club at the bottom of the Premier League are leading here against Liverpool, who had just beaten Manchester City, first team to do so in the Premier League this season. But this is what the Premier League is all about. It should be that everyone's capable of beating everyone. And the goal from the defender Alfie Mawson has given Swansea a bit of belief here, a bit of hope. Hope can kill you when you're at the bottom of the table. That could be the thing that, makes it so frustrating for the supporters, but they've got to believe that they can improve on this situation and win here. They could be 3 points from safety, and suddenly everything looks achievable.
Well, it'd be a massive 3 points if Swansea can hold on. Of course, we know it's a long 45 minutes. I'm expecting Liverpool to come at Swansea at a speed of knots, but I have to say Liverpool have not been at their best, Conor. When you keep missing chances, right, not only does it it affects your confidence, but it gives the opposition a lift. It will give Swansea a big lift when you're wasteful in front of goal, and that's what Liverpool have been in the first half. But of course, an awful long way to go yet.
Give you a full rundown of the teams in just a moment. Joel Matip plays it forward for Liverpool, looking for Sadio Mane. Too high for him, floats over the top and through to Lucas Fabianski, who is the Swansea goalkeeper tonight. 3 central defenders: Mike van der Hoorn, Federico Fernandez, Alfie Mawson, and the 2 wing-backs, Kyle Norton on the right, Martin Olsen on the left. Key is the anchor role in the midfield. Leroy Fer also in there. And then Klukas and Dyer pushing forward on the flanks, and Jordan Ayew is the striker up front. But he's put in a lot of work coming back and helping out the defence as well, as Norton gets to the ball ahead of Firmino and is able to clear it away for Swansea. Might have been a push by Wijnaldum, was a push by Wijnaldum on Fer. Free kick to Swansea on the halfway line. Liverpool, who, you spotted it straight away, John, were sent out early at the start of the second half. Always a sign that Jurgen Klopp wants to see better.
Oh, definitely. I think they were out a couple of minutes at least before the Swansea City players came out, as if to say, look, yeah, we've not quite put our chances away, but we're very much still looking to come away with a positive result tonight.
Liverpool, who've won their opening 4 games of the calendar year. They haven't had 5 wins in a row at the start of a year in quarter of a century, as Firmino tries to get on the end of a ball into the penalty area, and he was crowded out of it by defenders, and by sheer weight of numbers as much as anything else, Swansea put the ball out for a corner. That was just a simple prod over the top. Oxlade-Chamberlain into the penalty area. Firmino tried to let it bounce into his favour, and eventually Fernandes put it out for the corner.
Well, Van der Hoorn is just flat on his back. I think he
gets a knee into the rib cage.
He's got a knee in the rib cage, which could be quite painful. Van der Hoorn, good for Swansea anyway. He's back up on his feet looking to defend this corner.
Nothing intentional for Firmino there, but he did knee the opponent to the chest as the corner is swung in by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Swansea now with a chance to counter-attack. And here comes Ayew, Jordan Ayew, over the halfway line. Mane trying to keep up with him. Oh, lovely touch by Ayew. He's got into the penalty area now, and then when he tries to go past Gomez, that last defender held him up. That was scintillating, though, the way that Jordan Ayew went past Sadio Mane there, just oozed confidence. Brilliant. Gomez saved Liverpool.
Yeah, strength, pace, and if he just got his head up, Nathan Dyer and Ki Sing-young were bursting into the box to try and help him. Just didn't quite get his head up because they were there for him. Jordan Ayew.
Back heel by Firmino, Chan into Mane. And now Robertson is up from left back for Liverpool, who are a goal behind here against bottom club Swansea, away from home on this Monday night. Wijnaldum infield to Matip. All his teammates up ahead of him, apart from the goalkeeper behind Karius. Karius, who was beaten by Alfie Mawson's low shot after a corner wasn't cleared sufficiently in the first half. Wijnaldum has possession for Liverpool to the near side to Robertson. Norton trying to get close. Robertson scurries it back to Wijnaldum. Now across to Matip. Liverpool go from left to right. Matip lays the ball towards the feet of Firmino. He intentionally allowed it roll past him, but Can wasn't ready for it. Ayew will pick it up. Ayew, whose influence of the game is getting stronger and stronger. He peels away with the possession over the halfway line, but then is tackled by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Liverpool come again. Now this is Firmino cutting in off the right wing. He's got Salah to his right, Mane ahead of him. He's still 10 yards outside the penalty area. Can gets involved. Poor ball by Can, but Mawson doesn't clear it away. Oxlade-Chamberlain onto Mane. Salah's arriving, and it's Olsen who hooks it clear and out for a throw-in. I think this is going to be a very good second half, John Hartson, because it's up to Liverpool now to throw the kitchen sink at an equaliser.
Well, absolutely, and them little, introvert little 1-2, Swansea tracking their runners, players running off Swansea's shoulders. You got almost have eyes at the back of your head. You've got to stay concentrated at all times.
Throw in by Olsen, comes straight back towards him. Salah with a touch, Fur in to help out for Swansea. And make no mistake about it, they've appointed this new manager, and the Swansea players are showing that they're rolling up their sleeves and they want to get stuck in for him. They are producing a performance tonight. They are 1-0 up against Liverpool. Here comes Robertson on the left-hand side. If Swansea could win here, they go to 20 points. That would be level with West Brom, 2 behind Southampton, within 3 of Stoke, are in 4th bottom at the moment. So Swansea could be 3 points from safety if they can hold on here, as a free kick is given away. Matip's foul on Ayew, and Liverpool increasingly frustrated.
It's great play from Jordan Ayew. Your centre forward, when it comes into you, Matip got too tight. He's clipped the back of his heels. Good play from Jordan Ayew. This is what you want. It gets your team up the pitch, gives you a couple of seconds breather. Good centre forward play from Ayew.
Yeah, Jordan Ayew's leading the line tonight for Swansea, and they need somebody to fulfil that role. Free kick for the home side, taken short, and then Key sprays it from left to right. Norton controls up against the touchline, run up ahead of him by Ayew, collects it with just Matip between him and the penalty area, but he doesn't take him on this time. Back to Leroy Fer, great vision to bring Olsen into things. He's got a lot of time over here to steady himself, to try and swing in across, and Gomez got across and blocked that cross, and Liverpool can clear away. Salah to Firmino, the game a little bit stretched now. Oxlade-Chamberlain with a good accurate pass in front of Sadio Mane. 2 defenders come out to try and close him down. One of them is Van der Hoorn. He's done well. He gets it back for Swansea, and then Wijnaldum lunges in for Liverpool. And the quality of the game. Well, there's a lot of errors down there, but it's great to watch. You can't take your eyes off this at the moment.
Great game. We have got a game now, as you said. Liverpool chasing it.
Swansea 1, Liverpool 0. The goal in the first half for the central defender, Alfie Mawson. This is Gomez in possession. Liverpool's right back. Infield to Joel Matip, who's on a yellow card from the first half. And now this is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. No route forward on the right-hand side, so we'll give it back to the central defenders once again. Liverpool, who've only lost twice in the Premier League this season. Man City beat them early on, Tottenham beat them, that's been it. But Swansea have their noses in front here.
It's a great challenge for Swansea, Conor, as well. Can they stop the quality of a Mane, and a Salah? Can they just stand up and get that result tonight, and halt Liverpool's progress, if you like? Wonderful challenge for the Swansea players against top class opposition like Liverpool are.
Emre Can, the Liverpool captain, forward to Mane. Brief touch by Salah, who's not at the standard we expect of him. I mean, he's had a marvellous season. He's right up there for the Player of the Year contention. Let's see what he can do here. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Bit of room for... Oh, it's a really poor shot. Salah's shot way off target, so much so I wondered, had it taken a deflection, was it out for a corner? But it's not. It's a goal kick. It's just a poor shot from a player who's had a great season, but he's not playing well tonight so far.
Just looked as if he was never set for that. It was just like a lazy right-footed shot. A couple of bodies in front of him, and it went about 10 yards wide of Fabianski's goal. Very unlike Salah, because of course we know how good he has been this season, and instrumental of course for Liverpool also.
We've played almost 10 minutes in the second half. Jurgen Klopp, I mean, that's the exact sort of position he wanted Salah to receive the ball in. He was able to turn, run towards the penalty area, and then just as he opened his body, and all season long we've seen him just glide it into the back of the net, but that one time it was way off target. Swansea 1, Liverpool 0. Liverpool playing from right to left as we look down. Van Dijk on his first Premier League start. To Robertson as the left back. He's done it here against Dyer. Helps it on to Mane. Mane's first touch took him back away from goal. But now he sends in a low cross. Hits Firmino in the stomach. Great touch for Robertson. Even better tackle. That's an excellent tackle by Kyle Norton. Just as Andy Robertson thought he might have been in for his first Liverpool goal.
Yeah, brilliant from Norton. Great positioning, and he just got in front of Robertson and he just nicked in front of him. Great tackle.
Well, Liverpool fans won't be enjoying it at the moment, but it's intriguing to watch here for the neutrals. And for Swansea supporters, well, they're now beginning to bite the fingernails and think,
well, the conversation we had half-time, Connor, will Swansea camp out on the edge of their own penalty box? Will they have a threat?
Hang on, Robertson's cross, and didn't the goalkeeper do well there? Fabianski allowed it dangerously roll across the face of goal because he was confident that none of the Liverpool players were going to get there. Chan was in there, Firmino was in there, but Fabianski, I think he thought that if he dived for that, he'd only be playing it into their path, and that's why he allowed it run in front of his body. As we see an action replay of that wonderful tackle by Kyle Norton on Robertson.
Great ball in there as well from Robertson. Really good ball. A few of the Liverpool players, in particular Salah, Firmino, on their heels. They should be anticipating that ball coming across the 6-yard box and wanting to get on the end of that great ball from Robertson.
This is 5 Live for the BBC. The Premier League on a Monday night, and Norton plays it forward for Swansea, who are daring to dream that this could be a rare victory for them in the Premier League this season. As Karius comes off his goal line and gathers the ball. Here is Chan inside the centre circle, just glides around Ayew, who's having a very good game for Swansea. Oxlade-Chamberlain gives it back to Wijnaldum, and Liverpool have got to keep their composure here. There's plenty time left in the game. There's over half an hour. Here is Salah, plays it into the penalty area, trying to feed Firmino. Good goalkeeping again by Fabianski. Dives out and makes the save.
Again, this is brilliant from Salah. He gets turned. Mawson, you can't let Salah turn there. He'll pick people out all day. But Fabianski was sharp. He was out smothering the ball. Good goalkeeping from Fabianski.
The last few minutes have been a good spell for Liverpool. They had a little purple patch in the first half and didn't score. It was directly after that Mawson made it 1-0 to Swansea. Let's see if Liverpool can score now. Down the other end, Klukas tries to get in between Matip and Gomez and fails to do so, and Liverpool regain possession. Virgil van Dijk at the back. Liverpool's new number 4, £75 million signing from Southampton. As Chan plays it forward. Oxlade-Chamberlain chests it down for himself. Good ball control. Rolls it short for Emre Can. He's got 4 teammates ahead of him. One of them is Firmino. 5 yards outside the penalty area. Shoot. Hits the body of Alfie Mawson. Liverpool appeal it was a handball. And then Salah tries to follow up with the shot. But it's deflected out for a corner. Liverpool beginning to increase the temperature now and beginning to raise the heat.
Yes, constant pressure. Firmino with the shot there. There was doubts over whether it was a handball. I don't think it was from Mawson. I need to see that slow-mo replay, if you like. Salah just jogging over, looking to take the corner. Matip and Van Dijk in there.
Jurgen Klopp is in the ear of the assistant to the halfway line. Here comes the delivery from Salah. A chest down by Leroy Fer. The Liverpool fans are screaming for a handball again. Didn't hit his hand though. Swansea get it out of the penalty area, and Klukas heads it out for a throw-in. Very condensed on the edge of the Swansea penalty area now at the moment. Swansea, who, if you missed the team news earlier, are playing with a 5-man defence, and they're a flat back 5 at the moment, trying to absorb this Liverpool pressure. We've not reached the hour mark yet. Long way to go for Liverpool, but they need a goal to get back into this one, with Alfie Mawson's goal separating the teams for now. Here comes Robertson, left-hand side for Liverpool. Infield to Wijnaldum. And then this is Van Dijk on the halfway line, and he's not even been challenged, and Swansea sitting back at the moment, inviting Liverpool onto them. That could be dangerous. Mane tries to nip through, and he's tripped on the edge of the penalty area, and that is a free kick to Liverpool. And you would say for the first time of the match, a free kick to Liverpool in a shooting position, John Hartson.
Oh, it just looked as if Key got a little bit of the ball there, just a little toe. Mane's gone over. Dangerous position this for Swansea. Well, 22 yards out.
Slightly left of centre. The wall will be around about level with the penalty spot. That'll give you an indication of how close this free kick is. Lucas Fabianski is busy erecting his wall. Salah is the man who's placed the ball and taken a few steps back, and then there's a few decoy runners. Firmino is standing there looking with intent. Emre Can as if he's going to blast it, but this needs more of a delicate touch.
Up and over, yes, if you like.
Up and over. Up and over, and crucially down again. That's probably the hard part from here. It'll be Salah, left-footed, tipped over the top. Good free kick. Good save by Fabianski. Corner.
Great save from Fabianski. Not too sure, wasn't right in the corner, middle of the goal, but it's a save you'd expect your goalkeeper to make. He's across, his hands are up and his fingertips over the bar. Yeah, good save from Fabianski, decent effort from Salah.
Yeah, there was a whip on it, there was pace. He would have wanted more into the top corner, but good free kick nevertheless. Here comes the corner from Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. It was low and it's cleared away at the front post. Chance of a counter-attack now for Swansea. Ayew heads it on, can't feed Dyer though, and Salah gets back to help it to the goalkeeper. Liverpool back to square one. We've reached the hour mark. Swansea 1, Liverpool 0. Alfie Mawson's goal in the first half. Liverpool have come close but haven't got the equaliser yet. Wijnaldum just over the halfway line, left of centre for Liverpool. Rolls it across the centre circle to Joe Gomez, back into his own half, and Matip onto Virgil van Dijk. Now he tries to loop one over the top for Robertson. He's done well to win it in the air. Mane controls, edge of the penalty area. Good interception by Key. Swansea get it back again. Fur in front of Nathan Dyer, and one for Ayew to chase down the right hand side, and Van Dijk swept around behind him. Excellent defending, puts it out for a throw. But at least Swansea have moved up the pitch here. They've got to throw it in the Liverpool half. They've had to absorb so much pressure the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's what Swansea need to do when they do get in possession of the ball themselves. They've got to play in behind the Liverpool defence. They've got to try and preserve them as much time as they can. Jordan Ayew has to be a runner, willing to run in behind, because there's no point playing in front of the Liverpool defence, because if they win it in front of you, they're on the counter attack, and Swansea then they're on the back foot. Got to turn the Liverpool defence around when you get the chance.
Played forward by Robertson for Liverpool, headed down by Van der Hoorn on the edge of the Swansea penalty area. Van Dijk propels it forward once again. Firmino eventually gets it under his control midway inside the Swansea half. This is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain veering across the field from right to left. Low ball to Robertson on the left hand side. Swansea preparing to bring on a sub. Ball in the middle here. Salah's after it, collides with the goalkeeper Fabianski, although he was nudged in the air, didn't drop the ball. And as he fell to the ground, he's not making any meal of that either. I think Salah was trying to play the ball, but just hitting the goalkeeper in mid-air. Good goalkeeping by Fabianski.
Fabianski's back on his feet. Good professional play there from Salah and Fabianski.
Swansea battle on, and it's been impressive tonight from Carlos Carvajal's men. You know, they've been whipping boys for much of the season. They are right down at the foot of the table. But Swansea tonight are showing considerable fight, and Carvajal's ready to make a change now. And with his arms, he's just kind of pushing his hands together. He wants Tom Carroll, who's coming on, to keep things tight to the middle of the field.
Just looking to shore up the midfield. That's exactly what Tom Carroll will do. Work his socks off in what, the last 27 minutes here. Swansea getting numbers behind the ball, white shirts everywhere.
I tell you what, John, this is going to be the longest 27 minutes of Swansea's season. The supporters just watching the clock, wondering, is it running at proper speed or is it going in slow motion? Firmino pushes it ahead of Robertson. Good determination by Dyer, and helped out by Knowlton. They win the ball back for Swansea, and the home fans just love that. That's the kind of thing that's been going against them all season, but they are getting stuck in this evening. And here comes the change now, and it's going to be Dyer who leaves the field. And coming on to replace him, Tom Carroll.
Yeah, he's worked really hard, Nathan Dyer. Different positions though. Nathan's, yes, he's been running back, tracking back as best as he can. Great energy levels, but Tom Carroll will start in the middle of the park, and he'll keep it. He'll want to keep the ball for Swansea. Just get an extra one in there.
1-0 to Swansea. 5 Live Sport from the BBC. Carroll slotting into the right-hand side of midfield at the moment. Firmino tries to help it on for Liverpool. He'd Mane in front of him, but it's been cut out. Liverpool do hold on to possession, but now they're back by the halfway line. Gomez onto Salah, whose influence in the game is growing. Here's a little dink into the penalty area. Mane controls. There's appeals for a penalty. It sits up in front of Oxlade-Chamberlain, and his shot is deflected out for a corner. Corner to Liverpool on the right-hand side.
Well, before that, it's great play from Salah into Mane. Mane's looking for the penalty there, and ultimately it goes out for a Liverpool corner. But don't like to see that from Mane. He's better than that.
Yeah, Mane, I think, was influenced by the crowd there. More than that in a moment. Here comes a corner, played in by Salah, held onto by Fabianski. He hit the ground there, Mane. He wasn't appealing. And then when the crowd all made an appeal, the Liverpool fans are behind that goal.
It's an hand on the back. It's no shove, and Mane's just looking to go over. But there we are. The referee, nothing made of it, which is good.
No, I don't think that was a penalty. 1-0 it remains in Swansea's favour, but Liverpool showing intent in this second half, suggesting that they've got an equaliser in them, but will it come? Norton plays one over the top. Carroll, fresh legs, recently on as a substitute, scampers after it, keeps it in play by the byline. Robertson just about keeps it in play. Make sure it doesn't go for a corner. Oh, mistake by Van Dijk. Ayew sprinting in there to win back possession for Swansea. He's having a really good game, Jordan Ayew. This is as good as I've ever seen him play for Swansea. Now Norton on the right hand side to Carroll. This is attacking end of the field for Swansea, right hand side, and then they work it back into the middle, and they've just got to try and keep the ball up there now, because they can't continue to absorb pressure the way they have been in this second half. They've got to go and attack a little bit now. Van der Hoorn plays it forward. Matip will head it back to the goalkeeper Karius, and Jurgen Klopp is preparing to bring on Adam Lallana shortly for Liverpool, who have it with Emre Can. That's a good ball over the top. Salah's onto it, a header away by Fabianski. I actually think he was still inside the penalty area, but he didn't want to take the risk there of handling it, and he might spill out of the box, so Fabianski headed it clear.
That was great goalkeeping from Fabianski. Sharp, he was alert off his line, and as you said, Conor, he couldn't handle it because he was outside his penalty box, so he had to head it. Good improvisation from the Swansea number one.
We're midway through the second half. Swansea holding on to their 1-0 lead. John Hartson using the word alert there. I think that's what Swansea have been today. They've been on high alert right from kickoff. They're working for each other. They are full of concentration. Crucially, they are not making mistakes, but can they continue that through to 90 minutes?
They've had to be, Conor. That's the only way they were going to get a result. Long way to go.
Good turn
against this Liverpool team. You've got to be alert, concentrated all the time.
Now Can, just a little looping ball into the penalty area, overcooked. Fabianski allows a bounce out, knowing it's going to be a goal kick. Look at this, Firmino wants to play ball boy. There's a local Swansea ball boy who was very slowly trudging over, and Firmino ran, and it was shades of it was an Eden Hazard here all those years ago with the young ball boy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they didn't collide this time, but
that's right, yeah.
Firmino wanted the ball back on the pitch. Here comes the change. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will make way. Adam Lallana comes on for Liverpool.
I think it was around about this time of year as well. It was approaching was it the Capital One Cup? I think it might have been. Swansea got to the final and beat Bradford. Beat Chelsea over 2 legs, yeah.
Good memory from you.
Only because I'm at Arsenal on Wednesday, that's why I've said that.
Ball cleared away by Mike van der Hoorn. And then a header by Robertson, and Swansea get it back down on the deck with the impressive Ayew. Plays a little 1-2 with Tom Carroll. Liverpool working very hard when they don't have the ball, but the moment they can't get it back, Carroll controls right with the touchline cap, keep it in play. Throw into Liverpool. They'll build from deep. Van Dijk on the edge of his own penalty area. This is 5 Live from the BBC. Alfie Mawson's goal separates them. Swansea at the bottom of the table, but leading Liverpool by 1-0. Chelsea will be pleased with this scoreline. If it stays like this, Chelsea will remain 3 points clear of Liverpool in third. The good news for Tottenham and Arsenal as well, if Liverpool were be denied any points at all here this evening. That would increase their chances of returning to the top 4 sometime soon. As Can shoots from a long way out, it was on his left boot. It was always rising, and it ends up in amongst the Liverpool supporters behind that goal.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp there. He's just in his technical area, just trying to rally his players, keep going, keep probing.
John mentioned the League Cup. Reminder, we've got Bristol City against Manchester City tomorrow night on 5 Live, and then it's Arsenal against Chelsea, the 2 second legs of the Carabao Cup semi-finals over the next 2 nights here on 5 Live. Later on tonight, much later, if you're up in the early hours, around about 4 a.m, Kyle Edmund will be in action down under in the tennis of the Rod Laver Arena. Commentary on 5 Live, and we've got that special Jimmy Armfield tribute coming up once the live football is over here. Jordan Ayew breaks into the penalty area, shooting position, shoots it. Karius makes the save of the front post. It was on target. It lacks the power though to trouble the goalkeeper.
He's looked a threat tonight, doesn't he, Jordan Ayew, considering he's worked really hard. He's up there playing on that role striker for Swansea. Done ever so well when he's had the opportunities.
Heavy touch by Chan, hacked away by Kyle Knowlton. We're not quite there yet, there's 20 minutes to go, but you get the feeling that soon it's going to become a anywhere will do for Swansea, and they'll just bring all bodies back behind the ball and kick everything as far as they can. I mean, they've worked it tactically very well so far, and there is, the best part of quarter of the game to go, but so far Carlos Carvajal has got to be so pleased with how his team are doing here against a Liverpool team who score goals for fun. We know that about them. They've not been able to score tonight.
No, they've had opportunities in the first half in particular, Salah and Mane, but
here's Matip, shoots. Well, he'd have been an unlikely goal scorer over the top.
Chances, opportunities in the second half. Yes, they've had a lot of the ball. Swansea have got numbers back. They're frustrated. They're defending strongly. They're tracking runners. They're making it very, very difficult for Liverpool this evening.
Matip with the shot there, always rising. Liverpool attacking the end where their supporters are housed. They've taken over pretty much that entire section behind the goal that Fabianski is in.
Well, from a Swansea point of view, Conor, when Liverpool have got their centre halves looking to burst forward and hit shots from the edge of the penalty box, you're defending well.
That sums it all up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Matip scored against West Ham in November. That's been his 1 goal for the season. But so far tonight, and we'll keep saying, putting in the caveat of so far because things can change very quickly, but Firmino and Salah have been kept under wraps. Here is Firmino on the ball. Lallana, who's come on as a sub, is playing wide right. Gomez shoots, hits the heels of Mawson, and now a chance to cross on the right hand side for Gomez. Low ball to Lallana. This is Salah in the penalty area. Lallana pretty much takes it off his teammate, has to pass it back outside the box to Gomez. Here comes the cross, too close to Fabianski, and that's just not good enough for Liverpool. They needed a better cross in that position.
Yeah, they needed a Liverpool player to get across that near post. All standing around the penalty spot area. Somebody, Firmino, Mane, standing still. You've got to get across the goalkeeper and run across that near post, just as a decoy, if you like.
Liverpool preparing to make a change, and it's an interesting one. They're going to bring on a striker, and it's Danny Ings. Danny Ings, who's had such terrible injury trouble since coming to Anfield, but here he comes. Only his 3rd appearance as a substitute this season, all of them in the Premier League. Can Danny Ings get his first goal of the season and rescue a point here for Liverpool?
Well, what a chance, what an opportunity for him. Been out for such a long time, and now you've got Salah, Lallana, Ings, Firmino, Mane. 5 forward-thinking players on the pitch for Liverpool in this last 15 minutes.
Chan hooks it forward, but that pass, he's been trying to make it all game, trying to loop it over the top for Salah. It's just not come off tonight. They've tried every variation.
Only the once it came off in the first half when Van Dijk played it perfectly with the perfect weight into Salah, and he blazed it over the bar.
This is 5 Live for the BBC. Not sure how many people would have seen this scoreline coming. 74 minutes played. Swansea 1, Liverpool 0 here in South Wales. Van Dijk gets up and beats Ayew in the air. Chan, Liverpool's captain tonight, hooks it forward. Lallana now picks it up, trying to get away from Fur. Salah has a touch in a congested midfield to Chan. Back to Salah again. Fur leaning into him, having a few little kicks out of the ankle of the Egyptian. Referee was close to that, waves play on. Matip has it, centre circle for Liverpool, direct ball forward to Salah. Difficult one to control, but he's still furious with himself. He didn't do better there. Robertson picks it up. Lallana on the left wing now for Liverpool. Back to Robertson, scooped forward towards Salah, but it's all very signposted. And cleared away by Van der Hoorn on this occasion. And look, they're not even chasing out Swansea. They're barely trudging up to the halfway line. They are saying to Liverpool, there's a quarter of an hour to go. Come and breathe us if you're good enough.
Down, yeah. They've not been good enough up to now. Liverpool a bit wasteful in the first half. Couple of decent chances. But certainly in the second half, when I expected a Liverpool sort of, lots and lots of pressure. Yeah, they've had a lot of the ball, but Fabianski's hardly had a shot to save. They've not really tested the Swansea goalkeeper.
This is Gomez in field to Joel Matip. And he comes now with long strides. Oh, but he's given the ball away. Van der Hoorn to Ayew inside the centre circle, and they're just not set up to counter-attack. Even when they won possession there, Swansea, they're all so deep, so far back, they couldn't even get to the halfway line.
The fans are having a little bit of a moan as well. Hold on a minute. 1-0 up against Liverpool. You're moaning because Jordan Ayew turned to face his own goal.
Ayew just slow to get back up off the ground. I don't think he's got an injury problem, but might need a little bit of treatment. Robertson's getting some friendly advice from Jurgen Klopp down there. He's got, as Klopp does, he's got the arm around the shoulder and he's pointing, and then a little tap on the backside as well for Robertson, and saying whatever criticism I'm giving you, it's constructive criticism, it's all for the right purpose. But Liverpool, for whatever reason, and they could still, they could score 2 goals and win this game, but right here, right now, they are not firing on all cylinders as you'd expect. Chan in the midfield to Mane, who's now wide on the right-hand side. Tries to hook in across. Fernandes will head those away all day. Has Klopp got the tactical decision that can turn this game back in Liverpool's favour? Has he been able to spot the chink in the armour?
Well, this is what he gets paid for, one of the top coaches in the world. The endeavour is there from Liverpool. The effort, the work rate, it's all there. You just, with the players that they have at their disposal, you always expect that little bit of magic from one of them. It's just not come tonight for Liverpool, just not happened up to now.
Firmino tries to get into the penalty area. Mawson tackles him. I remember being at Turf Moor around Christmas, and Liverpool left it very late, but they did get the equaliser, the winner against Burnley. Clavan, I think it was, scored the goal then. But can they get the late goal tonight, Liverpool? Liverpool have got West Brom at home in the FA Cup on Saturday. Then they've got Huddersfield away, then Tottenham at home in the league. Lallana forward to Salah in the penalty area. Norton missed it. Shot on target by Ings and saved by Fabianski. He got it on target. It needed more power, though, to beat the Polish goalkeeper.
Yeah, it did. He's on a little bit of an angle. He takes it really well. His first touch is good. Danny Ings out of his feet. Keeps it low. Good save down to his left. Fabianski. Decent effort from Ings.
He's done everything right there, Danny Ings.
Fabianski read it well. I have to say, he's down early.
Burnley's top scorer 3 seasons ago, Danny Ings, got him the move to Liverpool. He's been almost permanently injured since then. Free kick awarded to Swansea. 10-15 yards inside the Liverpool half. Almost ironic cheers for the referee as the decision is given the way of the home side, who are preparing to make a change and preparing to bring on some presence up front. Wilfred Boney has been prepared to come on.
Well, if you want somebody to get a hold of the ball for you, they don't come much stronger than Wilfred Boney, backing in, take the pressure off his team, be that focal point for Swansea. Jordan Ayew has worked tirelessly tonight, Connor. I wouldn't be surprised if it's for Ayew.
He's given it everything, hasn't he? The clock ticks on, 12 minutes plus the stoppages to go. Liberty Stadium, almost a coiled spring here, almost a bottle of pop that's been shaken. And, if you take the top off, it'll burst up, but they're not quite celebrating yet. They know there's a long 12 minutes to go. It is Ayew who'll be coming off it, and every chance trying to escort him off the field, trying to get him to walk quicker. Ayew is trying to set the world record for the slowest walk off a pitch, and you can't blame him.
Well,
you really can't.
Hey. Old school.
Standing ovation at the Liberty Stadium.
In the situation Swansea are in the Premier League, they need to do everything. They need to work wonders. Wilfred Boney coming on, taking his time. Liverpool will do exactly the same.
Context is everything here.
He's been outstanding tonight, I have to say. Jordan Ayew has covered every blade of grass for Swansea, leading the line.
Swansea, bottom of the Premier League, fighting for their survival. Lose tonight, they'd be 6 points adrift of safety. But somehow they have had the endeavour, the effort. They are leading 1-0, but can they hang on? Here comes Manny, a wide arc around the D. And Norton, who's having a fine game as well, clears it away before the ball can reach Salah. 1-0 to Swansea. Throw in taken quickly by Robertson. Instructions being bellowed from all the backroom staff, the opposing team. It's a round about 400-mile round trip for the Liverpool supporters who've travelled in really big numbers here to South Wales to support their team. Van Dijk to the left-hand side to Andy Robertson. Back into Van Dijk again. He's now midway inside the Swansea half. That's how deep Swansea are lying. Liverpool back four are all up midway inside the Swansea half. Gomez onto Lallana on the right-hand side. Two players come close to him. That forces an early pass, which isn't a good pass, and Swansea get it back again. That pressure's really told for them tonight. Gomez, though, gets it away from Boney. This is Joe Gomez. Oh, it's a strong run into the penalty area, but he shoots wide.
Boney's got to do better than that. He's come on for a reason. He's come on to get a hold of it. He tries to take it to his right. Just put your foot on it, Wilfred Boney.
Joe Gomez, who's never scored a senior goal. Didn't score when he was with Charlton before joining Liverpool. Got some welly behind that, but it wasn't on target. And Jurgen Klopp has a little glance at his watch and sees there's now less than 10 minutes to go. This would be quite a hiccup for Liverpool with the recent momentum they've been building. Let's just, remind you that the context again of this. Liverpool, if they were to lose tonight, first defeat in 19 games in all competitions. They've not lost in a long, long time, back to October.
Oh, they've been on one hell of a run. In particular, the way they played last week as well against Manchester City.
And John,
they've just not been inventive enough tonight. The Liverpool fans watching the game, yeah, it's all there. The effort levels, the work rate. Missed a couple of chances in the first half, decent chances.
Lallana now to Robertson on the left-hand side. It's a high cross. It sails over most of his teammates. Firmino tries to knock it back in, but he's knocked it out of the penalty area. Van Dijk hits a scorching volley. Wow, he hit that well, but over the top. Tell you what, if that had got in, goal of the season.
Well, I always thought it was rising. I have to say, for a centre-half, Van Dijk, we know he's technically very good. Just comes to him on the edge of the box. I thought that it was always rising. Yes. Some finish from there to beat Fabianski in the form that he's been in tonight. But I go back to just being a little bit more inventive, and they just haven't been able to do that tonight, Liverpool. Credit to Swansea, they got the noses in front just before half-time. And they've defended strongly. They've come out in the second half, knowing full well they have to get 10 people behind the ball. They've sat in, they've grinded it out, and up to now they're doing a very good job.
And as you said earlier, John, think of the recent chances. Gomez has had a shot, Van Dijk has had a shot, Matip's had a shot. It's the defenders who are shooting. Here's Danny Ings, he's had a chance as well. Tries to give it back to Salah. Excellent work by Fur to outmuscle Salah to come away with the ball, and then is fouled, was he, by Emre Can. Referee says it's a fair challenge. Can comes away with the ball. It's becoming very frantic here now in the closing stages at the Liberty Stadium on 5 Live for the BBC. Swansea leading Liverpool by a goal to nil. Liverpool, who beat the league leaders last week, are they about to lose to the team at the bottom of the table? How would you explain that? Robertson tries to cross from the left, and his cross hits the thigh of Norton, goes out for a throw into Liverpool. They'll remain on the attack.
Again, Conor, you say the shots that they've had, other than Danny Ings, who tested Fabianski down to his left, Van Dijk from the edge of the box over the bar, Gomez twice down the right-hand side, failed to hit the target. The chances are not falling to Salah, Mane, although they had big chances in the first half.
Salah so far is the quietest game I've seen of him in a Liverpool shirt, as Van Dijk scoops it forward. Mawson wins the header in the penalty area. Can tries to continue a thrust, but his touch was a little bit heavy, and Carroll will clear the ball, and again it's anywhere will do for Swansea. Clears it out for a Liverpool throw. Robertson wants to get on with it quickly, taken short to Van Dijk. Back to the halfway line, Joel Matip. The clock ticks on, just over 6 minutes of normal time to go now. There's not been many stoppages in the game either. Here comes Virgil van Dijk midway inside the Swansea half. Look how hard Swansea are working here. Kluka sprints to put pressure on Gomez. Gomez gets it on to Momo Salah, who's forced away from the penalty area. Lallana, good ball in towards Ings. Oh, he's done very well, Ings, to keep that alive. Firmino's with him in the penalty area. Robertson arriving. Dangerous cross comes in low. Federico Fernandez puts it out for a corner. Swansea clinging on here.
This time it's Robertson. He just gets round the outside of Norton. Plays it in as Fernandez again in that perfect position, like we saw Van Dijk for Liverpool in the first half many a times. Good clearance from Fernandez. Swansea defending well.
The Swansea crowd were slow to give the ball back. They're trying to slow it down as well. Salah places it now. Here comes the corner. Left foot, a terrible corner by Salah. Hits the first defender, bounces straight back to the Egyptian. Rolls it short to Lallana. Salah's got another chance to cross here. He's under pressure from Carroll. Good movement though from Salah. Delivers across it. Van Dijk with the header on target, but bounces up into the arms of the goalkeeper. Saved by Fabianski.
Yeah, good cross from Salah. Van Dijk climbs higher than everybody else. Just couldn't quite generate the power on his header. Just drops in front of Fabianski. Easy pick up for the goalkeeper.
6 times Liverpool have come away here in the Premier League. Only twice have they won. Last season, Swansea beat Liverpool at Anfield. That was a crazy 3-2 game, I remember. This has been a crazy game in its own nature, but if Carlos Carvajal's team can hang on, well, what a boost it's going to be to him.
Well, it will, and in particular, what was it, 4.5, 5 weeks ago? Liverpool on a Boxing Day absolutely hammered Swansea 5-0. So you talk about the character and things like this and desire from this Swansea group. A lot of people have already written them off this season. Yes, 5 or 6 minutes to go. I don't want to go too early, but in terms of spirit, Carvajal, what a result they could potentially get here tonight.
We're into the 87th minute. Wilfred Boney's holding the ball up inside the Liverpool half and winning a throw-in. And Swansea will take their time about that. If you're a fan of West Brom or Southampton, Stoke, Brighton, Newcastle, any of those clubs, I'll tell you what, you've got a new competitor. Don't write off Swansea. They want to be in this mix for survival as well. And if they hold on here for the next few minutes, they'll only be 3 points from safety, and there's a long way to go to be only 3 points off the pace. Matip clears the ball away. Key gets it back in the midfield. I've just been so impressed with how they fought tonight, and you've got to look at the new manager and think, well, he's not brought in any new players. This has been, whatever he said to them, he's got them believing in themselves again. But can they hold on? This is Roberto Firmino. Evidence of how frustrated he is that he's only back in the centre circle to regain the ball. Van Dijk will come forward for Liverpool. Ferd to close him down. So it's infield to Joel Matip. Forward now to Firmino. Just outside the penalty area. Shoots, takes a deflection, and that goes out for a corner. Fabianski for a moment was wrong-footed there. Had that deflection been on target, Liverpool might have had their equaliser, but for now they've got a corner.
Yeah, again, more pressure from Liverpool. Be interesting to see how it finishes the game and what Klopp actually thinks. You know, what his view on the game will be. Will he think Liverpool should have done a little bit more in front of goal?
Hang on, Salah's corner comes in. It's low, but Swansea haven't got it away. Oh, the home fans are frustrated now. They're just saying, just get rid of it. Here comes Lallana, right on the edge of the penalty area. They're all still up for the corner. It's a really busy penalty area. Lallana can't produce a cross. Firmino can, and Fabianski allows it bounce. It comes up into his chest. Ings was sliding in. He was a whisker away, but the ball goes through to Fabianski, and it's still Swansea 1, Liverpool 0 with 2 minutes of normal time to go.
Well, can they hold on for a famous win? Swansea in the situation that they're in, rock bottom of the league. I don't think many people thought that this could be the case this evening. Swansea could actually beat Liverpool. Of course they haven't yet, but they're well on their way. Deep inside the Liverpool half, the crowd getting behind Swansea.
The Welsh voices are singing. There's been a lot of pride on show here tonight. Swansea letting everyone know that they are not going to be the cannon fodder at the bottom of the table, but they've got a few results left in them. And what a result this will be if they can hang on. It'll make everyone else sit up and take notice. It'll be a setback for Liverpool and their aspirations of ensuring a Champions League spot for next season. Liverpool will remain in 4th, but they would be just 2 points ahead of Tottenham if it stays like this. Robertson in possession. 10 yards outside the Swansea penalty area. We are into the 90th minute. Ings collects on the edge of the D, immediately surrounded by players. They've just hunted in packs tonight, Swansea. When a Liverpool player is in an attacking position, he's never one-on-one. He's always got a number of opponents around him.
I think you said it 5 minutes ago, Connor, that togetherness. That's what they've shown in the second half, a real togetherness, and that stems from the manager, his tactics, that character that they have here, which they showed brilliantly to survive last season under Paul Clement.
30 seconds of normal time to go. Liverpool fans willing their team to go forward and get the equaliser. Big Liverpool crowd here. I'm sure there's many Liverpool fans listening to us, hoping their team can pull something out of the bag here. Lallana loops it high into the penalty area. Gomez is up there. Well challenged though by Klukas. Comes back to Gomez. That's not a bad cross, but headed away by Federico Fernandez, and a proper header as well from deep inside the penalty area. He's put it all the way out for a throw, which Liverpool take quickly. 4 minutes are being added on for stoppages here at the Liberty Stadium. 1-0 to Swansea. Ings tries a back heel on the edge of the penalty area. Oh, he's done well, Ings, when it came back to him. Gives it out to Robertson on the left-hand side. Doesn't fancy an early cross. Pulls it back to Van Dijk, 10 yards outside the penalty area. To his right is Gomez. Now he loops it in. Oh, it came off the knee of Norton. It could have gone anywhere. This is a chance, and it's Emre Can who's put it over the top. It was a volley, and he couldn't get over it. It's a chance for Liverpool. Will they get another one as good as that?
That's a little bit of luck you don't always get when you're at the bottom. It falls to Can, who's technically normally very good, and he can't just quite keep it down. His volley hits it over the bar, gives Swansea an extra few seconds to clear the lines.
Well, I think we always knew Liverpool were going to get at least one big chance. Has that been it? Emre Can, who has scored 4 goals this season in all competitions. You know, normally, technique-wise, volleys, he's very good at that. He put it over the top. What an opportunity for Liverpool to make it 1-1. But now, with the clock ticking on in stoppage time, they still trail by a goal to nil. Swansea have got a throw in on the far side, and they are taking as long as they dare. 2 different players have come over pretending they want to take it. Now they're asking, is it in the right place? Am I in the right place for the throw? Anything at all to try and waste time. Now they've given it away. Salah over the halfway line, pushes it in front of Firmino. He's got Ings ahead of him. Van Dijk is playing like a centre forward now. Look at him, he's just staying up there. Lallana for Liverpool. This is Robertson. 15 yards outside the penalty area. 11 men behind the ball for Swansea. Emre Can to the right-hand side to Joe Gomez. Forward towards Lallana. Good challenge by Olsen. They're clearing it away, Swansea, but there's no one up there to get it. So it's wave after wave of Liverpool attack. Lallana into the penalty area. Pushing for the Salah. Salah doesn't hit the target.
Another chance for Salah.
Tight angle, too high and wide.
High and wide, that's exactly what it was. I don't know what he's doing there shooting, to be honest. I know we've seen him score from that angle, but surely he's got to cut that back. They're queuing up in the Swansea penalty area. Must be 5 or 6 players there waiting for a tap-in. Salah, normally a lot more cleverer than that. Wasteful again from Liverpool.
So something happening in the stand away to our right. Everyone's standing up. I'm not sure exactly what that's all about, but play continuing down on the pitch. Stoppage time at the Liberty Stadium. Swansea hoping that the referee is going to blow it up soon. The goal from Alfie Mawson, one of the only shots on target that Swansea have mustered in the game. And Carlos Carvajal hoping that they can make it count. Great atmosphere, you've got to say it here. Huge noise. I think there's a bit of pent-up frustration that's coming out tonight that they've had to keep inside for some time, Swansea. As Ings helps it on in front of Salah. It's not over yet. This is Firmino, crossing position on the right-hand side. Key trying to get close to him. Firmino delivers a really good cross, looking for Van Dijk. Well held by Fabianski. Really good catch by the goalkeeper.
Big catch as well. Comes out, he's assured. Good hands. Van Dijk breathing down his neck. He comes out, Fabianski, and takes a great cross. That's how you take pressure off your defence.
The 4 minutes are almost up. Matip charges forward for Liverpool. Hooks it long. Van Dijk wins the header. on the edge of the penalty area. Danny Ings with a back heel. This is Van Dijk in the box. What a cross! Firmino on the back post. He's hit the post, and Lallana can't score the rebound. Sensational scenes. Swansea are still 1-0 up. Liverpool will not come closer than that. How did it not go in? And Mawson, I swear, he celebrated that more than the moment he scored a goal. He had a clenched fist. The header from Firmino came back off the woodwork. Lallana is 2 yards out. He's the goal at his mercy. Mawson cleared it away as here comes the corner. Punched up in the air by Fabianski. It's Manek. It's punched again by Fabianski. He's got it out of the box. There's the full-time whistle. What a sensational end to the game. What a moment for Swansea. They conceded 5 goals against Liverpool on Boxing Day. Remarkably, John Hartson, Swansea have beaten Liverpool tonight.
Swansea have held on, they've dug in, they've been together, they've been gritty, they've made it difficult. Yes, Liverpool have had numerous of opportunities, not been able to take them. How Firmino misses that header from 5 or 6 yards out. That's that little bit of luck that Swansea needed and got this evening. Take nothing away from Liverpool's efforts and desire and endeavour, but Swansea City, for me, got the goal and they held on for dear life. And a massive 3 points for them, Conor.
Liverpool have lost for only the 3rd time this season in the Premier League. It is the first defeat in 19 games in all competitions, but take nothing away from Swansea. They earned this tonight. They fought for it. They've beaten Liverpool in the Premier League for a 2nd season in a row. And Liverpool, remarkably, have gone from beating the league leaders one week to being beaten by the bottom club the next. Alfie Mawson's goal. What a game. Swansea 1, Liverpool 0.
You both sounded like your voices were breaking at various points in that. There were a real range of octaves towards the end. It was very exciting, wasn't it, Conor?
That was brilliant. I mean, that goal-mouth scramble at the end, that's why we go to football. You know, the tiny margin of errors there between Liverpool snatching a draw and just deflating Swansea's balloon, and the difference between that block being made, we're talking fractions of an inch, and yet it makes all the difference. It gives Swansea such a fighting chance. And you know, I've seen in recent weeks, I was at West Brom when they got their first win under Alan Pardew. I was at Stoke at the weekend when Paul Lambert got his first win. It feels like that a bit for Swansea now. Could be the turning point. Of course, it can't be a turning point for all of them. They're not all going to stay up, but they all believe for now they can.
Carlos Carvajal, John Hartson at the end, let out a massive puff of his cheeks, and Swansea's Twitter account in the last 60 seconds in capital letters has just tweeted out, "and breathe."
And breathe. Yeah, well, that's a couple of wins now. I think it's the 6th game. You know, they went away to Watford and they picked up a big 3 points. Another win this evening, and it's okay, Mark, you know, playing well and having that character and spirit, but you need to pick up points at this stage of the season. Sometimes performances don't really matter. You need that little bit of luck with Firmino hitting the post right at the death there to mean that Swansea get the 3 points, not just a point. These little changes in games have gone Swansea's way this evening. Mane and Salah had really big chances in the first half, but in the second half Swansea dug in deep. They were camped out on the edge of their box and they picked up what could be a really, really important 3 points, not just going forward, but in terms of what that lift will give the players around the training ground and obviously the new manager.
Do you think it is the kind of result, and in many ways the kind of performance, that could kick-start a season, or would you... Actually, I haven't got who they play next at home in the league, but if they were to play another side in the bottom half at home in the league, they need that same atmosphere, don't they? They need that same passion and all hands to the pump performance if it was Huddersfield coming.
Well, that's right, and that's exactly, I think you're spot on, but the next 2 games are Arsenal.
Oh, it's Arsenal at home on the 30th,
yeah. And then Notts County in between. I think it's Saturday away in the FA Cup, and then they go away to Leicester. So it doesn't get any easier, but if they show the same application, chappers, and they have that little bit of luck, which they got at Watford as well, they scored 2 in the last 4 or 5 minutes. They were a goal down. They nicked it at Watford. So you always need that little bit. Don't always get it when you're down
the bottom, but they've got it tonight. And I think the new manager, Carlos Carvajal, will be delighted, you know, in particular with the character that the players have shown.
That win takes them to 20 points. They stay bottom of the table, but I'm reading up, they have 20, West Brom have 20, Southampton have 22, Stoke, Brighton, Newcastle 23, Huddersfield 24, Palace 25, Bournemouth 25, West Ham and Watford are 26th, have 26. Watford in 10th are just 6 points ahead of Swansea, who are bottom. It's going to go, I mean, we can say it now, it's not rocket science, it's going to go to the final day.
It's going to go to the wire, no doubt about that. But what Swansea have done is, by winning tonight, getting 3 points, Mark, you know yourself, they've not been drifted away, they're not completely tailed off. If they'd lost tonight, I think they would have been 6 behind, I believe. So that looks as if you've got a mountain to climb almost. You know, you're 6 points from second bottom. You know you've got 2 or 3 wins to catch up. But tonight, they're back in the mix. They're a couple of wins away from getting out of that bottom 3. And as you said, Mark, there's 6, 7, 8 clubs.
It's all